What is good, y'all? It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Me and Kid are here for the daily show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. We got a lot of topics to get to in a little bit of time, so let's make it happen. The Bears are signing a lot of linebackers. Is that a depth move? Or does that mean that there could be some issues for Roquan Smith possibly coming through? Also, the Chicago Bears offensive line ranks 11th. In preseason rankings, based on the signings that Ryan Poles has made, and guess what? Looks like they got Teven Jenkins back. Is he going to be here? We're going to talk about that. And unfortunately, in practice on Saturday, Bears lost N'Keal Harry to a high ankle sprain. We'll talk about how long he could possibly be out. Then we'll finish it off with a little bit of Bulls conversation, talking about Vouch possibly getting a contract extension, all that and more. You know, it's me and Kids, so there's going to be some craziness that happens in this show. It don't matter. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer. Let's go! What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Appreciate y'all for showing love. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks, so make sure that you get in tune with us. And y'all be holding me on the like button, bro. Push the button, bro. I give y'all 5 seconds right now. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Anybody that hit the like button, you're that guy. You're that guy. Anybody that hit the like button, you're that guy.
The statistics lets us know that 98% of you all are not following that channel.
Not that much. 48.
I was watching somebody's channel and they said 98%. I was like, good Lord,
hey,
man,
bro.
like 1 million views. I was like, the heck is he doing? First of all, what are we doing wrong?
Nah,
what the heck is he doing right to get 1 million views for 98%?
That's one of those things where you got a channel that's great information, but I need specific information. I'm like that with a lot of stuff with like with video editing tips and stuff like that. I usually only look when I need something specific. Like, I'm not trying to learn the program, so I'm not subscribed to most video editing people on YouTube. But if I need something specific, I'll type that in on YouTube, watch the video, and then get the heck out of there. Which I leave a like, though. I do leave a like. I leave a like on everyone. I leave a like. Show love. Hey, man, let's get into this, man. First off, Kid, how you doing, my boy? How you feeling, man? We got the weekend review to start things off. What was it from the weekend that caught you off guard, sports-wise, life-wise? How you feeling?
You know what? This is all out of the blue and out of the norm, because you know what? For one, Pat didn't give me that question in the pre-op. Like when he sent me questions,
is it Monday?
We go over. You know what
we've done the weekend review 4 weeks now. Is it Monday?
Guess what? We go over the topics and everything we go talk about. The weekend review didn't come up this time. So.
That's on me. I'll hold that.
Here's a curveball for you, because I wasn't expecting.
Is it anything that sticks out? If it's nothing that sticks out, we can just move on with it.
Kevin Durant's meeting with Brooklyn to kind of work it out.
He's got no choice.
No, he has a choice.
What's his choice? Don't play?
No. Hear me out. He could still get traded. The best teams with the best options for him to get traded will put him in like figurative purgatory until he retires. And that's absolutely not what he wants. And the Nets have been generous not to even put him in that situation.
Yeah.
They don't have to be.
Yeah.
But they could. They could absolutely gut one of these teams that absolutely need somebody.
Yeah.
And get all the picks they want for KD. They'll never get more than what Minnesota gave up for Rudy Gobert. Bro. Which,
well, this is the thing. That's what screwed it up.
I think people are looking at that all wrong. Like the Minnesota gave up a bunch of people that you can't even recognize. In fact, do me a favor. Name 4 people they gave up.
Pat Beverly, Walker Kessler. What's that boy? Why can't I think of his name right now? I actually can see his face.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't no good. I think the picks is the part that they gave up, though.
Guess what? You got 2 stars under 26?
No, I agree with you. I think Minnesota came out ahead in that. Listen, Minnesota. Yeah, we got to get that shirt for you. It's got to go on the site. That's them picks, man.
Come on. I don't know why y'all keep talking about. Look, they essentially gave up 9 people.
But the problem is, right?
Other people gonna be.
I agree with you, but the problem is for other teams that see like how close is Rudy Gobert to Kevin Durant?
defensively, he's a god.
How close is Rudy Gobert to Kevin Durant?
Offensively, he's a scrub.
Yeah, I mean, like,
look at it.
but the thing is, Kevin Durant's not a scrub defensively, and he's an offensive guy. So, right, like, how close are you to Kevin Durant? So, like, now you're looking at this. What's his name? Richard Jefferson said it's so slick, and I don't know if people peeped it or not, but how he said it was perfect. He said, so when the trade went down, they said, so now what the heck does Brooklyn give up? Or what the heck does Brooklyn ask for Kevin Durant? He said, friends. That's all this. What you have to ask for the country now. Like that's how big the deal has to be.
How big the deal is now. How big the deal is. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to work it out because I can assure you that, Kyrie Irving is going to get some type of contract talk or extension there. Because it all boils down to KD don't want to be somewhere where he ain't going to have nobody to hoop with him or give him the opportunity to compete for a championship.
I think all the teams he said he'd have been in a good spot for a championship. The team that came out of nowhere was Toronto.
I wouldn't go to Toronto.
Well, he didn't want to go there, but he don't have a choice. I don't think he has an NTC.
I keep trying to find out. They keep saying he does.
I keep seeing that he does, and then I keep seeing that he doesn't. But
it's so inconsistent. I don't know what's happening.
But it's also, the funny thing is, right, it kind of doesn't matter because all the teams that could trade for him are on his list. Like all the teams that have the assets to trade for Kevin Durant are on his list. So it's like, I don't know if he has an NTC, but it kind of doesn't matter.
Hey,
so
go back to Golden State, dog.
Well, I mean, yeah, they were on the table too. They was on the table too.
If he goes back to Golden State, it's actually fitting because Draymond ain't who he used to be. Clay ain't gonna be who he used to be. And
I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see if Clay bounced back because Clay's game was so different. It was just it was so catch and shoot.
He ain't gonna be the same player.
Yeah, but bro, it's okay. off a catch and shoot though, like it's like he'll probably never be the same defender again. He'll never be the same defender again.
Defensively,
he'll never be the same defender again. I don't think. But off of catching, but also right age plays in there. What's Clay? 34, 33?
I don't know.
So age, like you're not going to be the same defender that you were at 28 anyway.
Yeah.
But he didn't run nearly as much as Steph does. They find him in the corner off driving kicks, and he knocks down shots with hands in his face better than anybody in the world. Like, well, not better than anybody in the world, but up there with a lot of the best in the world.
He's up there.
That's going to come back. Like, I can't believe, like, him not being able to hit that's going to come. So he's going to be a 22 to 25 point per game type of guy again, I think.
But look at the issue that Golden State has. Golden State has Jordan Poole's contract coming up, and he for what it's worth, he did help carry the Warriors when Steph had that massively like abnormal shooting.
Yeah, during the slump. Yeah.
No one wants to talk about that, but Steph during the regular season shot worse than Russell Westbrook. Go do your research. During the stretch, I don't know if he finished the season.
I think he finished the season worse than Russ, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think he finished the season worse than Russ.
So you put that into perspective there. Like
maybe
as
not.
Much as we clown Russ,
no, I think he finished the season worse than Russ.
I mean, this is something we can Google real quick. It ain't a big deal.
No. Listen, this is the thing. I get this, and Russ is my guy. Y'all know, as much as we clown Russ, I get it. But like, the shots Russ was taking deserved from clowning. Like, listen, I keep it a buck. I don't think Russ is done in the NBA, but the shots Russ was taking deserve some clowning.
I mean, Steph shot 43%, 43.7 for the regular season.
Russ shot 44.
Russ shot
44% from the field.
44.4. Yeah. So I mean, listen. What's amazing is we all can say that this 43% shooting percentage is one of Steph Curry's worst in the season, and it really is, except for 2019 where he shot 40%. It really is one of his worst shooting outings of his career, and it's still on par with one of Russ's averages. But anyway,
it is funny. It is funny. You
know, Golden State. You know, getting back to the main point, Golden State has so many issues with cap. Luxury tax spending, these different contracts that are coming up. And so you have to make a decision whether or not you run. You don't want to be the Bulls. You don't want to be Jerry Krause and them and say, hey, do I break this up right off a championship run?
Yeah.
When I know we can get more out of it, just with some simple retooling.
This is the thing, though. The difference there is Kerr's not going anywhere. If Kerr leaves, it's a whole different situation. But the biggest issue I had with the 90s Bulls going into the 2000s, and I understand there was a lot of things that went into it, right? There was Phil was getting divorced. He was trying to save his marriage. He was focusing more on family, right? But Phil should have never came back and gone to the Lakers. That should have been the first phone call the Chicago Bulls were trying to get done, because the system that the Bulls ran works with that next team. Jay Crow, Ron Artest, Brad Miller, Elton Brand. What's his name went down with the tragic on the motorcycle.
Oh, you talking about he on the show?
Yeah, why can't I think of his name right now? Jay Williams. Jay Williams ends up going down with the tragic motorcycle accident, but he was a point guard. Like, you have to get, like, Phil Jackson on that next team is a difference maker. That next team is better. Like, all of those names we know as really good players in the NBA.
And wasn't no chance in heck he was going to go back to that Bulls team. You got he didn't like the way that they handled him, for one.
But that's the one, you shouldn't have let him leave. Like, if you let him leave on some like marriage stuff, like that's my only issue with Reinsdorf.
Yeah.
He sides with the organization so much because he wants to have this loyalty to the organization, but you're wrong. And then all of a sudden, right, you want to have this loyalty to the coach and the player after you've sided with the organization. And now we got Tony La Russa coaching the White Sox at 102 years old because you felt bad that he got fired in the 80s because you sided with the organization, right? Like, it's you can't play both sides. Stop trying to right this wrong before you leave Earth, my guy. Like,
Jerry Reinsdorf has been old as long as
Jerry Reinsdorf has been old since I've been alive.
I mean, it's only a matter of time, and I say that respectfully. But at this point,
no, you didn't like that.
I did the best I could, Jerry. I'm sorry.
You did say that respectfully in the slightest.
I think you're trying to make amends before
for sure.
You're ruining Chicago sports in so many different ways. However, I will say this: salute to you for getting a whole new regime in there, or allowing that to happen for the Bulls. We really love it. We'll talk about that a little later. But just as caveat, the legend of Kobe Bryant was already building when Phil left. He wanted to coach Kobe. I don't care.
No, he did want to coach Kobe. My thing is, you have to keep that relationship built up and strong.
It's over.
To me, for you to, and it just wasn't, right? Like, Jerry Krause didn't like him. He wasn't going to get rid of Jerry Krause. I'll be honest with you, like, as much as I killed Jerry Krause, so Jerry Krause built that next team. It's a really good team. But
he wasn't actually wrong.
No, he was wrong. He was wrong. Who was their head coach?
Time out. When I say he wasn't wrong, they had to make a decision ultimately as to, do you bet on these aging players? Excuse me, I know that sounded weird. Or do you start your rebuilding process? And he made, to me, from a business perspective, in hindsight being 2020, Scotty was never the same Scotty.
You had to move on from Scotty.
Huh?
You had to move on from Scotty. Scotty had a bad back. He missed 38 games that year. Had to move on from Scotty.
Mike, if he hadn't taken those, what would end up being another 2 years off, probably could have still been freaking.
Mike would have still been really good.
But Mike would have been like, he wouldn't have been like a 98 in 2K. He'd been like a 92. Which is still freaking good, right?
He'd have been LeBron James at 38, averaging 30 plus a game. Is that what you're saying right now?
No, I don't even think LeBron would have averaged that much back in that particular era, because that was the time where you could zone in hand check. That was that small pocket of time.
Let's be real. Let's be real. That was the time when you was did not take it.
Yeah, people like
you want to talk about beating somebody up. That's when I can hand check you and it's zone. So you got 2-3 dudes coming over at once. Just like, I got you. I hear
all these older like players who played on the outskirts of the specific era we're talking about. Like KG never sits there and says, you can hang with us. Because KG was late 90s, mid 90s, into the 2000s. It's always the players that had they shine like 2006 onward that like has all this input. And I agree, they played like there's something else. But I've just noticed that the difference between those who agree with the sentiment that, hey, it's a totally different ball game, or those who were actually like their primes aligned with the era that we're talking about.
Yeah.
In question or not. I know we're getting all off on this tangent.
Hey, man, that's why I love the weekend review, man. The weekend review goes anywhere, although it does always seem to end on 90s Bulls, I will say.
But going back to why I even said it, I think KD should go back to Golden State, to be honest with you. I think he should go give one last hurrah. I think those 2 rings there really helps Curry's legacy, helped his legacy. I didn't see the issue. I mean, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Why not be the issue?
The issue is egos, and KD's got the kind of ego that he's going to argue. He wants to have the grounds to argue the people that say you couldn't do it without Curry, you couldn't do it without Dre, you couldn't do it without Clay.
I ain't seen LeBron do it without another Hall of Famer yet.
Well, I mean, listen,
Anthony Davis is a Hall of Famer.
Are we saying that? I don't know.
Anthony Davis is a Hall of Freaking.
Probably. I don't.
Anthony Davis.
Did he win it? Well, it's because of the whole thing. Did he win a national championship? I think they went. But
they went. I think they went.
Did he win? Because it was him and Cat, wasn't it? Wasn't they on the same team? Or were they against each other? I don't watch college, but I think Anthony Davis, because it's about the whole career, right? The Hall of Fame includes high school, college, overseas accolades, and like Carmelo Anthony's a Hall of Famer. Muzz gonna be like, well, he's never been to an NBA Finals. Yeah, but he's won the most gold medals out of anybody. He won 2 college titles. Did Syracuse get 2?
He was a stud in college. I think he only got 1 though.
Did he only get 1? I might be.
I'm not up on Carmelo's backstory.
But I mean, like, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I mean, like, and
I mean, he's like 28,000. He's like top 15 in points all time. He's been an all-star most of his career. The NBA they blackballed him. So I mean, that's another thing. You took years away from his career that when he was still cooking. Like the last time he played high-level basketball, he was 26 points a game. Yeah. And then they sat him down for 2 years, and then he jumps around the league. People forget that. Like Carmelo was still a bucket. Fact. And the way he plays his game and the way he plays his game, he still plays the same way. Fact. He was never super fast. He was never that was never his game. It's I'm gonna get this ball, I'm gonna work you out in this spot. You can't stop it. The shot is going up, bottom of the net, we on the other end. It's always been that way. Yeah. No, I agree. I think I don't know. That's a weird one. But Anthony Davis, 10 years. I get 3-time block champ, NBA champion, 4-time all defensive, all-star MVP. I mean, the only thing he doesn't have is defensive player of the year. But I mean, he was a 3-time block champ. He had to be in the runnings for it. All this before he hits 30. Yeah, that's true. He'll probably get in. Ain't no probably. Let's transition to the reason we came here today. That's that weekend review. Shout out to y'all for tuning in for the weekend review. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with the show, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. We also drop the Daily Show Monday through Friday. So make sure that you tune in with the Daily Show whenever it is premiering. The reason I say whenever it is premiering is because we're in football season now, ladies and gentlemen. And that means that you got to move the schedule around for anything football. So these episodes might premiere a little bit early so that we can be live and react to the Chicago Bears press conferences and talk about what's happening over at training camp. But at a minimum, right, let's start here. Bears are signing a lot of linebackers out here. They signed Javon White, former linebacker from the Jets. They signed USFL star from last season, DeMarquise Gates, which I kind of like. I'm not going to lie to you. Incorporating that USFL early. I like seeing my organizations
looking at the new stuff the NFL's doing and saying, hey, we're going to do that as well. Yeah. Why? Does it work? Yeah. I don't know. But we're not going to be left behind and wait till somebody else does it. So I like to see that, man. But the question on the table here and the question for the video, are the Bears signing these linebackers for depth or because they feel like a deal with Roquan Smith is not going to get done? How do you feel about it, my boy?
I think they're doing both. And as an organization, you have to protect both. You have to have... you have to protect your downside. You know, you have to hedge against your bets. Was what the phrase I was looking for. So, I mean, if they get something done, great. They got some other bodies to throw in there still. If not, hey, we got these extra bodies to kind of move some things around. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. Plus, I don't think I think they're going to let Roquan go. I do think they're going to do that.
That would be such a mistake to me because it's you know what it is? It's the same thing I say with basketball, right? You never get better by getting rid of talent. Now, it may open up more options for you in the long run. And I know a lot of people will say, but Pat, we got rid of so much talent this offseason. We got rid of Khalil Mack. We got rid of Akeem Hicks. We got rid of Allen Robinson. That's talent. 100% agree. But that's talent.
I see where you're going with that. We got rid of a whole bunch of talent.
That's talent on the wrong side of 30. That's talent that, while Allen Robinson, I believe, still on the right side of 30. I think he's 29. But it was clear last season.
I'm not a big Allen Robinson.
That Justin Fields was not going to him.
I think it's the routes.
And those are moves that made next season look like, or next offseason look like, oh, snap. This might be a one and done rebuild type thing because they can go out and they can get Justin Fields real talent like they did for Trevor Lawrence down in the Jacksonville this year. They can go out and they can get Justin Fields a better defense. They can go out and but those guys are, like I said, wrong side of 30. If you're still paying them, you can't do much next season. That's not the case here with Roquan Smith. This season with Roquan Smith's what, 25? He's one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
You can definitely pay him.
You can pay him.
Definitely got money next season.
You can pay him, and he absolutely makes your team better. A team that, I'll be honest with you, coming out of training camp right now, they feel like is going to do better than what. Now, of course, right? Like when you look at training camp, right? Everybody feels like we're going to the Super Bowl, except the fans. Which I don't think we're going to the Super Bowl either. But what I do think is that you can tell. Just how they talk about Justin, how they talk about Kyler Gordon, how they talk about Jaquan Brisker, how they talk about Jalen Johnson, how they're talking about David Montgomery, that the coaches came in here and they looked around at what was actually on this roster and it was like, these guys suck. And then they started seeing them play and they were like, they don't suck as bad as I thought.
Underutilized talent.
100%. And we know that that's what we're dealing with here with Matt Nagy being the former head coach here, right? Like, guess what? Guess what the Bears were really good at times last season? Run blocking and running the football. Let's not use that. What else were the Bears really good at? They moved the pocket really well, and Justin Fields was a 148 passer rating or whatever it was, 143, something like that. How many times you do that? 19.
19 times.
Yeah, I mean, so like, I think they came in here and they saw things differently. So I'm not of the belief that they're trying to get rid of Roquan, that they're trying to move on from Roquan. I know that we had, why can't I think of buddy's name? One of the NFL insiders basically that broke down why he believed that they might go away from Roquan Smith based on how he's built, his size, his arm length, stuff like that. But he's a 25-year-old linebacker that's one of the best linebackers in the game, and he absolutely can fit in a 4-3 defense. You don't go away from a Roquan Smith.
You know, I get the sense that ultimately Ryan Poles and, Coach Flus, I still call him Matty E, they're really committed to how they walked in. Ryan Poles said, hey, we're going to build through the draft. We're going to get a bunch of people who on prove-it deal type situations. Like, he already let you know what his game plan was.
Yeah.
And he's kind of stuck to it this entire time. And you got to respect that. You got to respect the fact that he walked in with the game plan in mind, stuck to his guns. We may not agree with all the moves, but we can kind of see the method to the madness. And, this may be the one thing where, well, for one, this is not the one thing. For two, he's already, you know how I feel about how he drafted. I do feel like he could have did better in his draft. But, hey, we got $140 million next year.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? Some of the receivers that I wanted to go get, they're already tied to big deals. So I don't know who we're going to go grab. Hey.
Are you surprised that DK re-signed?
DK must know that they're going to go after Jimmy G, because there's no way in the world that he agreed to that.
You re-signing for Geno Smith? You not re-signing or Drew Lock? You not re-signing for Drew Lock?
No, dog. Come on. Hey, they must. Hey, I get Andy Dalton would make me re-sign before Drew Lock would.
It's messed up.
It is what it is.
I mean, it's.
I don't care what the stats say. Andy Dalton was cold. I trust the red rifle before I don't know about cold. Lock. Anyway,
he was icy at times. Yeah.
Hey, the red rifle. All I gotta say is this: it would be in the same vein to see him get rid of Roquan, simply because he just wants to move on and start afresh. And I can understand that. I don't know what that does for our cap. I don't know what other moves that allows us to make. I don't know if it's just.
Well, it doesn't hurt you, right? Because you're finishing out his deal this year. You would end up having to trade him in that sense, right? So you're probably just trying to get draft capital back for him. Maybe you end up with a couple of seconds. You're not getting a first round pick for him at this point. Maybe Roquan's the kind of player that maybe you can finesse a first round pick out of somebody for it. But the thing is, to me, right, like I want guys on this team that are talented and that are going to be consistently talented and consistently on the field. While Roquan Smith has missed time, he's spent more time on the field than not, and he's really freaking good. He's a $20 million a year linebacker. Now, if Roquan, the other thing too is we don't know what's on the other side of this. If Roquan's in these meetings saying, give me $25 million a year for 5 years. All right, bro. I mean,
but what is the market really dictating for him?
About 20 to 22, about 20 to 22
stretch for what he's accomplished.
25 is a stretch. 25 is a stretch for me because now 25 to me, you're putting him above. You're putting him above a lot of dudes. I got to see how the contracts break down. Let me see here. Highest paid linebackers. Let's see what we got. Khalil Mack is still on there. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that counts as well, I guess, in theory. Yeah, dog, you're putting him above Darius Leonard. You're putting him above Fred Warner. You're putting him above CJ Mosley. I probably put him above. CJ Mosley, I put him above. But you're putting him above Fred Warner. You're putting him above Darius Leonard.
Von Miller.
Well, I mean, that's a different situation there. That's age right there, but that's just now it's tough, right? Because there's a lot of the
now here's the
different linebackers. Essentially, no matter what deal's getting done, and this is probably what Pace is arguing, right? Like, hey,
be the highest paid linebacker.
I love you, but you're not Darius Leonard, you're not Fred Warner. They make 19. That's probably what he's arguing. But I would be okay with you setting the market with
how does his stats stack up?
He's behind Darius Leonard and Fred Warner. He's probably a little bit closer to Bobby Wagner. He's probably closer to Bobby Wagner than anything. And Bobby Wagner's making less money, but Bobby Wagner's also, I believe, 31, 32. So like there's an age difference there as well. He's 25. You're paying him based on the fact that he's performed this great on his rookie deal, and you're expecting him to become even more than that in a 4-3 defense that's kind of set up for him to succeed in. So I get the arguing point, right? Do you want to pay him more than Fred Warner? Do you want to pay him more than Darius Leonard, Chandler Jones, CJ Mosley? I probably put him above CJ Mosley. But I mean,
he got a case though.
He's absolutely got a case. Here's the thing. He's got a case to set the market for sure.
He has a case against Fred Warner.
I don't think he's got a nah. I would take Fred Warner over.
This is something where, hey, it's only one season ultimately that we're comparing, because that's what it really was. But he did his thing.
Oh no, for sure. He's been disrespected by the Chicago Bears, absolutely. Or not by the Chicago Bears, by the NFL, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I absolutely will put him up there. He's stats. So here we go. 2021 stats. Him versus Fred Warner. Combined tackles, Roquan had 9.5. Is this the average? What is this?
I'm guessing that's average.
Yeah, it's definitely average because I know he had more than that. He averaged 9.59. Warner averaged 8.5. Solo tackles 5.5. Warner 4.9. Tackles for loss 0.71. Warner 0.44. Sacks. Roquan had 3, Warner had 0.5, interceptions 1-0. The thing that you also have to look at, though, right? The numbers, you can say these numbers match up, and that's Roquan's talking point probably. But when you look at what's on the field, Roquan has to do more than Fred Warner does. But when you actually see him play, there's not many people that would look at Fred Warner and say, yeah, you're not better than Roquan Smith. And it's not a slight to either. They're still, you're talking, right, we're talking about probably the 2 best linebackers in the NFL, and I'm putting Roquan Smith right up there with those guys.
Yeah, but Fred already got his contract.
Fred's got his contract already.
So this is him.
So this would be Roquan setting the market.
No, you did just mention that.
Roquan would set the market. I would be okay with it. Roquan Smith to me is a $20 million a year linebacker. I would be okay paying him upwards of 22, depending on how the contract weighs out. If he's going above that, though, I understand why there's some hesitation, because now that's a good chunk of your cap that you want to do more with. And I understand both sides of it. I understand why Roquan's doing this now, because hey, I've been here. I've been here through the awful. And I know you just got here, but I've been here through the awful. And meanwhile, Ryan Poles is like, yeah, I get it. But hey, you see that kid that's standing behind center? That
me.
Hey,
my money,
facts.
What's up?
but I also get Ryan Poles saying, you see that kid that's standing behind center back there that got sacked 9 times in a game last year?
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
He won't get sacked 9 times in a game this year. I'm gonna go pay these offensive linemen.
Hey, you play Ryan. I'm gonna play Roquan. Hey, Pose. I don't even play that side of the field, baby. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Hey, listen. What we've been known as
I understand.
Midwest monsters. Guess what? These are Midwest monster stats. Don't give me a Midwest monster contract.
I understand you, and here's all I ask. We can get you the money that you're looking for in the season coming up. But right now, we're gonna have to work something out to get you to that point, because that kid over there, he makes the team, and we all start from scratch if he ain't good.
I play defense, baby. I'm always gonna have a job.
Hey, listen,
I play defense.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
Hey, whether or not he throws 1,000 picks or 1,000 touchdowns, I'm always gonna have a job.
Hey,
pay me my money.
But do you want a job that wins or loses? hey, if you want to keep running, if you want to keep running back that same stuff that you was running back with old nag man out here for the last 4 years, yeah, we can get it done. But if you want to actually win some games this season,
whether we win or lose, them checks clear. And the next time that check clear, I wanted to have some more zeros behind it. That's all I'm saying.
We can get you some more zeros, but 25 ain't it? And I don't know if Roquan's getting 25. I don't know if that's what he's even asking for.
We don't know what's happening.
But it's we just messing around. We don't know what's happening. But it's one of those things, right, where I keep hearing that they're far apart on this number. I don't know if that means years or if that means money. If it means money, you can't look at Roquan and think he's on CJ Mosley's level contract-wise. You can't look at him and say he's a $17 million a year player. He's way better than that. To me, he's around. I would be okay with Roquan setting the market for a year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I would be okay with Roquan setting the market for a year. It's
not going to last long. It's not gonna last long.
No, it'll be like Max was, where Mac was the highest paid outside linebacker or highest paid defensive lineman for like an hour, and then Aaron Donald was like, "Get the job done."
It's not gonna last long at all. Like any of these things, like the one thing that I don't want to hear about, within reason, I don't want Chicago Bears in talent to ever have to have a conversation about whether or not it's too much money. Yeah. Guess what? Spend the money.
Yeah. You're the Chicago Bears. And I'll say this, right? For all the Bears fans that are like, hey, listen, yeah, I'll say this for all the Bears fans that are like, the Bears have to be in Chicago for the Bears to be good. Y'all realize, right? Like revenue that's made for the team goes back into the team.
The Bears have to be where?
Hey, listen, I'm all for it going to Arlington.
None of the real people from Chicago even stay in Chicago anymore.
Hey, you want to know what the thing is? The only thing that pisses me off about the Bears going to Arlington is the traffic it's going to cause while they building that stadium. That's going to piss me off more than anything.
Closer to you, you're going to feel the brunt of it.
Yeah, I'm going to feel all of it. But yeah, man, I mean, I think the Roquan, I think the linebacker signings to me are for depth more so because, I mean, even if, like, we keep hearing all these stories, and of course I'm going to make videos on them, right? And there's people that are like, why are you making videos on the news that's coming out? These guys don't know anything. These guys are just talking. Well, I'm talking about what they're talking about because it's a sports talk show. That's how sports talk works. But at the same time, right, there's this weird thing where it's like, are these guys just getting bad information? Or like Peggy Krasinski reporting about Teven Jenkins, that the Bears were actively trying to trade him. I don't know whether she was right or not, but Teven's back.
When you say Teven's back, break that down for me, because I was still under this.
Not Teven's back, like his back, but Teven's actually back on the field. No, I'm just playing. He's back on the field. He was out there practicing all weekend. When Luke Getsy talked about Teven Jenkins, he talked about him in a way that was glowing. I mean, he was like, hey, listen, he did talk about him as if you better be available. Like he talked about him like injury was a
concern.
Not like it was almost an excuse. That's how he was like, you got to be on the field. You got and it's weird to say I like it that way because that's how real football teams work. Like when you get hurt, you're hurt. Get yourself better. We love you. We're better with you out there. We absolutely would have to move on without you until you get back.
Gotta go.
Multiple professionals have said that. They're like, football is not like any other sport. It's not, we're waiting for this. When we get this back, we're going to get, he's like, he's gone. Get in there, figure it out. We got to keep going. So Luke talked about Teven like that. Like he's better on the field. He needs to be competing for this tackle spot. He never, they asked him about him being, is he competing for any other spots on the field? He's competing for the tackle position. Either one. He needs to be out there competing for the tackle position. I love that. And I think that that's something that is got a little bit glossed over just by the fact that they talked about him being engaged in meetings, being involved in training, being involved in all the classroom stuff and doing a great job. So how the Bears look at him, at least based on what we're hearing, is that he's going to be out there. He's going to be competing. He's going to be complaining, or he's going to be playing. What I did notice in Teven's interview is Teven didn't exactly sound thrilled about being in Chicago, but I also don't know if he just has a bad attitude about things, which also is good for an offensive lineman.
I think he's just tired of the talking. Some players just don't like doing media.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
They don't really like doing media. They're not going.
Teven won't be a leader of your offensive line. He'll be a dude that is extremely talented. Well, I can't say that. I don't know.
I won't say that.
I don't know. But based on kind of how he's somewhat dealt with the media, especially going through a lot of the injuries, and he seems like he's taking the scorned guy route, he won't be the face of the offensive line, I should say.
You know what? That's kind of messed up for me to actually reduce him to, because he's still a human being. And human beings get tired of doing certain things. They get tired of certain narratives getting put out and stuff like that. So ultimately, if he heard those trade rumors and he was offended by that, and he has to sit there and talk in the same room with some of those people putting out those rumors, I feel some type of way too. Like don't sit there and critique my entire professional career, which has yet to really start. To be honest, I've barely even started it. But you're already making these things up about me. It's like, no, just let it play out. Shut up. Give me some time.
Here's the question.
That's the thing I would
do you think they're rumors? Like, both could be true, right? Teven Jenkins could be back. Teven Jenkins could be competing for a spot. Teven Jenkins could be on the field trying to play with the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles could absolutely still be on the phone like, hey, y'all want this kid? First call better be to Atlanta because they put all the former Bears back together. They down there talking about we're getting the band back together.
I'm letting you know right now, if Atlanta comes out smoking, I'm gonna have oh God, I'm gonna laugh so hard. I'm gonna laugh so hard. I was like, so
you ever watched Tua Tagovailoa? Not Tua, I'm sorry. You ever watched Marcus Mariota?
Not that great.
Yeah. That's the number one.
I'm surprised Ryan didn't go get Mitchell Trubisky.
I was a little surprised by it myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm surprised they didn't make a play. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not surprised by it. Well, I'm not surprised by Mitch at all for two reasons. I'm not surprised by Mitch. One, because Atlanta has no money, and two, what did Ryan Pace do for Mitch? He put him with a bad head coach. He put a terrible offensive line in front of him consistently.
Yeah.
Ryan Pace all he did for Mitch was say, hey, I think you're good enough to draft you number 2, but I hope that you're a god on the football field because I'm not giving you any help.
I don't know, man. I know it's forever ago, but
it was last season.
What I'm saying.
Well, Mitch was 2 seasons ago.
Mitch was 2 seasons ago, but Mitch's best days were 4 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Ryan Pace was being halted as executive of the year and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't.
That's how fast it changes, bro. In 2018, Matt Nagy was the coach of the year. Ryan Pace was executive of the year. The Bears were 12-4. Mitchell Trubisky was a Pro Bowler, and we had Khalil Mack.
Look how fast it changes.
2018 was that? 19, right? 2019, right?
2019.
No, Mitch got drafted 17. Yes, that's 2018.
2019 is when Nagy was like, okay, we're going to start doing this. And we started a complete change.
Well, 19.
To me,
19,
honestly,
we lost Vic Fangio and the defense started letting people score a lot more touchdowns.
To me, it was it's very easy to track the collapse. But I don't want to go into that too much, but it's just like, hey, it wasn't that long ago.
I just say Pace really didn't do that much for Mitch. So I can see why Mitch would be like, hey, I appreciate you getting me into the league. I ain't coming to play for you.
You know what? Here's the thing. I think Mitch had the same issues as Justin, but Justin got the brunt of it. I think if Nagy had really just did the same rollouts and stuff like that, they would have been a lot better.
I'll say this. This is my thing. I keep hearing like Mitch talk about, Buffalo let me play my game. They let me do this. They let me make these moves.
They let him play his game when he played. Now, he did have one horrible pick.
Bro, that's my thing, right? Like Mitch is talking like he got in games and was like dotting Muggs up. And Muggs were like, wow, you're really the next one, bro. We got you. After this season, you leave, we got you.
Training.
They picked him because he was the best of a bad bunch. Like I think Mitch signed his deal and Mariota signed an hour later.
Let's be honest. It's the training. In training, that QB room and that QB staff, they built his confidence back.
I'm fine with that. I rock with that. Listen, I really do hope, and I think we got a sandwich bet or whatever, or a bottle bet, whatever, that
I say he's gonna have if
you said Mitch is gonna have a really good season. I said he's still gonna be the same dude, but I really hope he plays well because first
of all, say he's gonna be better than Fields.
No, I didn't say he's gonna be better than Fields.
Was that because
I don't think he plays out the full season.
I don't think he does either. Unfortunately, I think that.
And the thing is, here's the thing: this is the thing. If he plays well, Mike Tomlin's not gonna bench him.
Yes, he is.
Nah. Mike Tomlin's never been under 500. Mike Tomlin's not going to bench a quarterback that's winning him games. He's never in his career been under 500. That is a record that you can say is, hey, listen, we win here. You come here, we win. He's had Mason Rudolph, and they finished above 500. You have a really, hey, listen, hometown kid, all of that, right? Them stories sound great till somebody starts winning. If Mitch is winning, they will not bench Mitch.
If he's winning, here's what's gonna happen.
Because it's what it's just this year, right?
What?
It's
a 1 year, $10 million
1 year deal. They'll ride out if he's winning, they'll ride out the season with Mitch. I'm not saying they'll resign him. They'll probably go to what's his name after, but they'll ride out the season with Mitch because
at the end of the season, if they I think they're gonna.
If they're out, they'll bench him.
Yeah, if they're gonna go to Ken, and I'll tell you this, they're gonna be winning, and Mitch is gonna have one bad game, and then that's when the talks are gonna be put in Pickett, and it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be tough.
Like, but you know what? It depends on how they're winning. It depends on if Mitch is a reason why they're winning. If Mitch is the reason why they're winning, they won't bench him.
He needs to be in a situation. To be honest with you, he needs to be in one of these worst teams.
You need to go to the Commanders. Because here's the thing. You need to be on a team like this with an offensive line, with weapons, with a running back, with all these things, right? Because then it shows other teams. He's not going to be back next season, probably. He's not going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler next year. But what it does, unless he balls out, if he dominates, he'll be a Steeler for the next 5 years. But what it does is shows teams that.
I don't think so. So what happens with Pickett?
You let them sit. They don't care.
You can't let that kid.
Bro, I'm against that. I'm against. Bro, welcome to the NFL. They do not care. It is about what have you done for me lately. Allen Robinson is probably going to have a dominant year this year. Allen Robinson had 2 dominant years with the Chicago Bears, where absolutely he was one of the best receivers in the NFL. And you know what he did last season? Why? Because Nagy stopped using him in the scheme. Justin Fields really wasn't looking his way. A plethora of reasons. You know what Muggs started saying? He can't play football. Even though the 5 1,000-yard seasons with terrible quarterbacks, or no, how many? 4 1,000-yard seasons.
More than I thought he should have gotten.
With terrible quarterbacks his entire career. He went from Blake Bortles to Mitch Trubisky to Andy Dalton to Nick Foles to some other backup that was in there for a while.
Andy Dalton keeps getting the short end of the stick because he was moving them chains.
Stop signing them contracts then.
Hey, listen, nobody says Andy Dalton didn't get killed like Justin Fields did. He did not.
No, he didn't get killed, but Andy Dalton also knew where the heck to go. Yeah, I mean he's a
new system for him too.
I
can't compare rookie to.
But he's an NFL vet.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna do that. But I will say this: I think Andy Dalton could have been a lot better than we gave him credit for, and it was such a pressure to get Fields on the field. He was like, "I'm gonna fake this injury." Like I don't think he was really injured.
Oh, he was hurt. He was hurt because he was starting and doing well. He was starting and doing well. He wouldn't have went down.
The more he completed passes, the more we was like, well, see, if Fields was on the field, he'd have ran that one. Like, the more he did it.
Oh, no. I was fine with Andy. I remember, I wanted Andy to play because I was like, Jason Peters is 100. Justin's gonna die. We just picked him really high. I want him to live. Andy dies, tough to say. Andy died, but
oh yeah, you were sacrificed,
bro. Sacrificial. If Andy dies, I hate to say it, but Andy died. Like,
but Andy made that.
Andy's not my future.
Andy made that O-line look good to me. That kind of goes into the next topic. Like our O-line now is ranking 11th in the preseason ranking. That's 11 out of how many teams?
30, 32.
Wow,
NBA has 30.
That's pretty freaking high.
Hey, bro.
Pretty freaking high.
And here's my question. I understand Ryan Poles.
Here we go.
Ryan Poles didn't do what a lot of us thought he would do in the draft. We thought at least with one of those top second round picks, he would go get a wide receiver. Now, we'll get into N'Keal Harry's situation in a second here, but he makes a move, goes and gets a former first round pick that's a big body wide receiver that was showing out pretty well at camp.
Mm-hmm.
He seemingly fixed the offensive line. You got to see it in person. But he went out and he got three offensive linemen, all three of which are low penalty guys, two of which they gave up 2 sacks between them, I think. 1 sack maybe between them. Because I know Michael Schofield gave up a sack last season. I don't think Lucas Patrick gave up one, but I might be wrong on that.
Is Lucas going to be back?
Lucas should be back by the beginning of. It was a broken thumb. He should, and you can play with a club on that hand. It kind of works to your advantage. It sounds weird, but I mean, like when a football helmet comes through and they're like, "Are you holding?" Nah, bink. It's tough. But you're talking about. He went out and he got you a starting NFL center, a starting NFL right tackle, a starting NFL or right or left tackle, a starting NFL right guard, and absolutely got you protection for offensive line if it pans out on the field, right? First things first, do you think this offensive line with the names that we have now pans out? Let's start there. Do you think this offensive line with the names we have now pans out, especially throwing in the caveat that Teven Jenkins seems like he's going to be on this team and they view him as their most talented offensive lineman?
One way or the other, I think it does. And I'm excited about that part. I just want to see what Justin looks like behind a halfway decent line. And whether it's 11th best in the league or not, it's way better than what we were at. We were ranked 28th last season.
The bottom.
Yeah, dead last.
The bottom.
So it's better than that. I mean, you got to think about it. That's a 20-team jump.
Here's the thing, right? And I think that's what mugs don't look at. When I say, because I gave my NFL predictions or my Bears predictions last week, not my NFL ones yet. We'll do that this week. But my Bears predictions last week, and I said the Chicago Bears can win 9 games this season. Not because they're going to be this dominant football team, but because the teams they play suck.
Yeah, the schedule is
if you have the 11th best offensive line in the NFL, now, of course, you got to play it on the field. These are preseason rankings. They mean as much as a hill of beans, right? Bears came into 2020 as rated as one of the best football teams in football. And then Matt Nagy.
Nagy gon' Nagy.
Nagy gon' Nagy. But if you get to the point where they are, at a minimum, a top 15 offensive line, they're going to be better than half the defensive lines they play this season. That's an improvement. That puts you in a completely different direction offensively, especially going run heavy. David Montgomery's been 1,000-yard back with a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
And he missed time last season. And he was still 1,000-yard back. Now, granted, right, with 17 games, what's that break down to? It's like 55 yards a game, something like that. 56 yards a game, you get 1,000 yards, something like that. Or 55 to like 60 yards a game. I think you get 1,000-yard season. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to overvalue it crazy. But behind a bad offensive line, that's pretty good.
Like 60 yards for a running back behind a bad O-line. And, the way that we were, like, he really got most of his yards when Bill was calling the plays, because we know Nagy wasn't really calling those run plays when he was there. So that's pretty much half that season.
Yeah.
It's something to really look at. Overall, I think they've created this nice little incubator for Justin. They've given him the right systems to kind of show what he has. And, I've said this
But that's
before.
what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. Your guy, what did Bill do last year? Belichick.
He did the same thing for Mac, but Mac Jones, honestly, he was the most prepared QB outside of. He was the most prepared QB in my opinion.
Mac was in the perfect system for him.
He was in a perfect
and
system.
Bill didn't put him in no bad positions. Bill was like, "Hey, that Blizzard game," he said, "You're not throwing the football."
That was just common sense to me. Because even I think they was playing the Bills. They was playing
Josh didn't throw it. No, Josh was throwing it because he was throwing. Remember, I was like, bro, he's throwing through the wind. How hard does he
like
throw?
14 passes. He didn't throw a lot.
Hey, but he threw hard, bro. Like, them 14 passes. Them 14 passes wasn't short, bro. That mother was like, let me hit you with this bullet.
That man has a freaking cannon. But still, like, I don't take, everyone looks at that. It was like, oh, Mac was in a good situation. No, Mac Jones is a really freaking good QB.
I think he's a good QB. QB.
Mac Jones.
I don't know if I go really freaking good, but I think he's good.
He was better. He had better. Listen, he had some pretty good games.
Yeah.
And he had some pretty good games. Didn't he go toe-to-toe with Tom Brady? Didn't he play Tom Brady last season?
He did play Tom. I don't think it was toe. I don't think it went toe-to-toe, but I know he did play Tom.
I watched him. He was making some plays that ultimately you can't sit there and say, well, Bill did that. No, that's stupid. The kid is a stud. He went out there and he made plays. Like, we give sometimes, I think,
toe-to-toe ish. Early in the season, 19-17. Clearly, it's a defensive game in this situation, which is good for Mac Jones, right? Defense showing out.
Not good for Mac Jones though, because that defense wasn't all that great.
Whose?
The Patriots. They were rebuilding it.
Oh, the Patriots. Yes and no. It wasn't all that great, but it was still pretty good.
And Tampa Bay had a way better defense than they did.
Yeah, for sure. No. Tom Brady was 22 for 43, had 269 yards, no touchdowns that game. Very un-Brady-like. Where is Mac Jones? Did they put him together?
I'll tell you that much.
Oh, no, I got to switch here. Hold up. Mac Jones went 31 for 40, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He outplayed Tom Brady. Now,
he had a good game.
Look, he didn't outplay Josh Allen, though. I was putting a lot on that. I was like, hey, he competed against the Buccaneers. Bill Belichick's not getting blown out versus the Bill. Hey, it was over. It was over quick. Hey, it was over quick.
But Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes put up the best game in football. That wasn't. I mean, that's probably a top 5 game in football history. I don't care what anybody says. Josh Allen is that guy. He is him.
The only reason I'm gonna say that's one of the top 5 games I've ever seen in my life is because the number 1 for me is Brady coming back. 2 is the Bears versus the Cardinals, where Rex throws the hilarious pass that we laugh about all the time, but the Bears come back. But that might be arguably the greatest playoff game I've ever seen, but I'm going to say second greatest because of the circumstance of Brady did his in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I give you that.
But like watching it, excitement.
I don't like ranking them.
It was probably like football games all time to me. That Bears one will always hold in my heart because it was just like we weren't supposed to win that game, and Rex was doing everything in his power to make sure we didn't.
You know, if we have to fill out the top 5, I think Eagles versus Patriots is up there for me. That Phillies
the Super Bowl
pull that off.
That's a great one.
And both Eli games versus Tom Brady.
Those are my other 2. Most of my top football games I've ever seen are
against Tom.
are Tom Brady's in them at a minimum. Tom Brady's in them. The Super Bowl versus Atlanta. Both Eli Super Bowls because I was rooting for Eli because I liked Eli because everybody was like, Eli sucks. And I was like, Eli doesn't suck. He's not great, but he doesn't suck. But he's definitely not great. But he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But he's definitely not great.
I don't know whether it was I Am Athlete or The Pivot, but someone was just a
I Am Athlete, I think it was I Am Athlete.
He was talking about how much of a stud playoff Eli was and how much he was a different player.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Eli gets his credit because he really didn't have any of the tools his brother had.
No.
He didn't have the same offensive line.
That's what it is. Right there. Eli used to get murdered. Remember Jay Cutler? Like that, but actually a little bit better.
That's hey man, listen. Eli used to get murked, and I don't remember him being injured.
Hey, the funny thing was when he said You put the he said the shoulder pad would be sticking up. He said Eli just and I remembered every time he would do that, Eli would get hit, complete a pass, look up, be running down the field just.
I gotta give it to him. Like, no matter what, Eli's gonna always hold a special place in my heart.
Those two are in there because one, you beat perfection, and then two, you beat probably the best team out of them mugs. So I give him credit on that.
That's my top 5 right there. Then
I'd probably go with that. Bears versus Cardinals. All-time games. And by the way, I'm 28. Like, I ain't saying, like, you're not finna hit me with you didn't see the comeback in Denver when like, yeah, I saw it, but like, I wasn't paying attention. Like, excuse me for not paying attention to John Elway when I was 4. Like, yeah, I'm 28.
I admit, though, I do remember some John Elway games.
Oh, John Elway was a dog.
John Elway was
a dog, my boy.
One of my favorite QBs for the longest time. And then I got to see prime Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
I loved John. You know what? This is my thing. I love anybody in football. I love anybody that has the cojones to come back and get a job done. That's why for me, Phillip Rivers is never high on my list because Phillip Rivers was the ultimate heartbreaker. Phillip Rivers would get you all the way back into a game, get you within 1 point, get you to the 1 yard line, and throw a pick.
Completion
or an incompletion or like yeah, always, right? Always. So that's why I always look at it. But like the guys that always stand out to me are the guys that like were kind of mid. John Elway was never mid, but kind of like he's a really good quarterback, but I don't know if he's gonna get the job done in this situation. And then they just find a way to get it done. Kurt Warner was like that. Kurt Warner, I would look at Kurt Warner's game and I would be like, he definitely could play football. But then Kurt Warner would be down like 20 points with 4 minutes to go. And you'd be like, well, this is over. And then he just win the game. You'd be like, how did he just win the game? Like, there's no logical reason you just won this game. We got really off track here. I don't even know how we got down this tangent, but I love it. We're having a good conversation.
I don't know how we did either, but I love the fact that we have the ability to do so and we just keep it pushing.
We're keeping it pushing, man.
And this is going to be a hard take that I'm just going to drop this and we're going to debate it later. Is Phillip Rivers and Brett Favre really the same person? They just one Super Bowl separates them? Because Brett Favre was just
Brett Favre has a lot of comebacks though. Like if Brett Favre threw you out the game, Brett Favre threw you out the game. Like Phillip Rivers would bring you back into the game and then lose it. Like Brett Favre, if he threw you out the game, like he threw 6 picks.
Well, here's the caveat though. Phillip Rivers has 421 touchdowns, 209 interceptions. Brett Favre has 508 touchdowns, 336 interceptions.
Yeah. Also played at a time where I don't think people really cared about the quarterback position that much. I think by the time he finished his career, we cared a lot more. But it's some quarterbacks. Your favorite Hall of Fame quarterbacks, they stats, them completion percentages sometimes look bad, man. you go back, you be like, bro, he was a dog. He was a dog. And then you go look up his stats, you be like, man, he completed 48% of his passes.
That's a fact.
Hey, I wouldn't draft this dude.
How do you say that? Because the person we were just talking about, good Lord, how did I just forget his name? John Elway.
What's John Elway? Completion percentage. His might be better, though. John was decent. John was pretty accurate.
That hilarious. 54%.
Never mind. Oh my God. Never mind. I mean, hey, I set that up perfect. I was trying to throw it out there, man. Oh, that's bad.
I didn't know it was that. All right, no. His completion percentage overall. Hold on, wait. The Google be messing me up. It's still 56%.
It's still pretty bad. It's not
4,000 yards.
Here's the thing. It's bad, but it's not, right? That means you complete over 1 of every 2 passes.
I'll say this. 4,000 yards in 93 is an accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. He was a dog, bro. Like I don't take nothing away from him.
Who's his contemporary? Dan Marino is his contemporary.
Oh yeah, well,
we know what Dan.
Hey, no, Dan was a dog. Hey, you look up Dan completion percentage. What's Dan completion percentage?
59.4%.
His what?
59.4.
Yeah. No, Dan was a dog, bro.
Oh snap! Dan. Oh no wonder they said Patrick Mahomes looked like him.
Yeah.
Dan was killing.
Hey, Dan was a dog, bro. You want to? I'll tell you this. I'll tell you that never got the job done. And here, you want to hear another tough take, and then we get back on some Bears stuff after this. You want to hear another tough take though?
What's that? Ooh,
Joe Burrow could absolutely be like Dan Marino, and I think. You hope that because of his tackles, getting the job, being there now, he gets back to another Super Bowl. But getting to Super Bowls is really, really, really hard. And he happens to play in a division or a conference, I should say, that there's a lot of teams that we could talk about getting to a Super Bowl this year. Broncos, Chargers. I don't think Patriots make it this year. Bills, Chiefs.
Bills could make it.
There's a lot of teams you could talk about making it to a Super Bowl this year.
I still think that
he absolutely.
You didn't even mention it. The Colts could make it.
Oh, I think that's my pick. That's AFC. That's my pick. We played against them in the Super Bowl. That's my pick to make the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie to you because I think they had every tool. They have a great offensive line, great defensive line, great linebackers, great cornerbacks, great running back, and now they have a great quarterback.
You know what? I'm gonna ride with you on that pick, and I know that probably doesn't make for good TV, but I really want to see Matt Ryan get it done because I think Matt Ryan is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks of our.
I think Matt Ryan just played for the Falcons, and so we don't pay attention to him as much. I think the Falcons are like football's Spurs.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you only look at Manu Ginobili's numbers, you would say Manu Ginobili's not a Hall of Famer.
League MVP. I mean, he wasn't even selected to Pro Bowls in years. He should have been a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Atlanta's
his stats. It's like, how does he not get selected?
Yeah, I think Atlanta's like a NFL version of the Spurs.
That's a different topic for a different day. But I mean, who in 2015 was balling so much that he couldn't get a Pro Bowl selection?
In the NFC?
Yeah.
15.
I had 21 touchdowns, 16 INTs. I get it. 4,600 yards though.
21.
66% completion rate.
What was his record then?
8-8.
Well, yeah, that'll keep you out.
That's true. That will keep you out.
That'll keep you out.
2017,
Cam.
Yeah, well, that was a mistake.
No, he was league MVP. And the Panthers went 15-1.
Somebody else who never got the job.
Hey, listen. The Panthers went 15-1. The Falcons went 8-8. They were in second place. Yeah.
You know I'm going to ride for Matty for Matty Ice.
Hey, Cam had his year. Cam had his year, but hey, look, it didn't pan out. He had his year. He had a couple nice years. Let's get back on some Bears stuff, man.
I'm a Matty Ice.
Can't go wrong with a Matty Ice. So here's the thing, right? We were talking about the Bears' offensive line and how they rank. I don't even know how we got here, but shout out to us. We were talking about by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you're enjoying the content out here.
Talking random stuff weekly.
Yeah, I know, right? The Bears' offensive line ranking 11th in preseason rankings, right? With Teven Jenkins coming back, does that do anything for you? Does that make you feel like they're better? Does that make you feel like it's the same? Does that make you feel like this Bears offensive line is built?
It does absolutely nothing for me.
Does he start for you?
I honestly don't care if he does. And I don't mean to just say it like that, but let's be honest. I just want to throw this out there for the record. Everyone that we have all these high hopes for ain't shown us nothing. Fields ain't showed us nothing. Jenkins ain't really showed us nothing. Nobody's really shown us anything.
Hey, listen.
So I don't know where these predictions be coming from, but like, hey, you gotta show me.
Yeah.
You gotta show me something. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Like I said, I really want them to do well. Sincerely. Hey, you all heard us on this show. Teven Jenkins loved his attitude. When my QB was getting killed, I saw the Rook go over there and handle business. That's what I like.
That's why I kind of like that he was a D-bag to the press. Not a D-bag. He answered the questions, but like the attitude was very like, come on, bro. Like I shouldn't have to be here talking to y'all right now. Y'all been slandering me. And I kind of like that because it's also like if he takes that on the field, it's like, hey, my boy, you know you're not supposed to be touching my quarterback. You know you're not supposed to be touching my quarterback. Yeah, I mean, like I don't want good guys on my offensive line. Olin Kreutz ain't a good guy.
I mean,
like he's probably a great guy to meet, shake his hand, all that stuff. But on the football field, he's not. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe not off the field, but on the football field, right? Like in person, I've heard Olin's a great dude. I would love to meet him, love to have him on the show, love to talk to him. But on the field, he's not a great guy, and that's why he's a Hall of Famer. That's why that's why he was great, because the dude on the other side of the field, he wanted to beat, he wanted to hurt, he wanted to hit really hard and make them not get up. Sometimes you need those guys.
Yeah, you can't sit there and have these people play this physical sport where they have to have all this testosterone and expect them to be the nicest people. Like I've never looked at anyone from the defensive standpoint and say, yeah, I think we could go out there and he's going to sign kids and kiss babies. Like I never thought that.
Akeem Hicks. Hicks. But Akeem was the same way to me. Akeem is the nicest dude in the world off the field. I've talked with Akeem, kind of, not really. He was passing by. I made a joke. He laughed at it, pointed at me, shouted me out. I said I talked to Akeem. Technically, I did. But nicest dude in the world. But it was during COVID. It was right after COVID. They told him you can't sign anything. You can't talk to nobody. You can't walk up to nobody. He wanted to, but he couldn't. But on the field, he's trash talking every dude on the other side. I'm coming for you. You talking trash? I'll be back there. Don't worry about it. Hey, listen, you're not coming my way. You running that way. That's what I want. Roquan Smith talking trash to Phillip Rivers. One of the greatest things I've seen. Phillip won. But Roquan said, bring that back. I want to see you bring that back. He brought it back. He brought it back.
Oh, you like that? You like that?
Nah. Hey.
So here's the thing. Like, I like the attitude. I like what he brings, but I'm not really big on how people overanalyze it. I don't want us to overanalyze it. I want him to have the opportunity to go on the field and show.
Here's the thing that I'll say. Does training camp mean something for you, NFL wise yet? Does training camp, because like when people, the thing that I can't say to other training camps, because I don't focus on other training camps that much. I just don't. I watch the Lions legitimately because I know he's in here. Don Burr talks about the Lions so much. So I tune in with the Lions and listen, Don Burr, come on, dog. I told Don Burr I think it was Friday, if the Lions beat us once this year, I'll buy him a jersey. He wants a DeAndre Swift jersey.
Get ready to buy that jersey. They're going to beat us. They got enough talent to do that. I'll give them that.
If the Lions beat us, hey, listen, it's a standing beef with Detroit. It don't matter.
We're going to split it. We all said we're going to split it. We said we're going to split it. We all said that Minnesota has the opportunity to run the division.
I didn't say we split in Detroit.
Okay, maybe that was an offline conversation, but you said that there's a good chance that we split.
I don't remember ever saying that. I don't think that don't even sound like me talking about Detroit. I don't think Detroit's ever going to beat us. What team in Detroit can beat us? The whole city.
Last season?
The whole city.
Didn't they beat us last season?
No.
They recently beat us.
They haven't beaten us in probably 3 years.
Nah, I don't think that's right.
Bro, Mitchell Trubisky is a god versus the Detroit Lions. He was a god. He was a god versus maybe his first year. When's the last time we lost to the Lions? It might be 2018.
I'm about to find out. Because
Mitch was a god versus the Lions. The games that y'all remember him dominating most are the Buccaneers and Mitch versus the Lions in that one Cowboy game. Mitch versus the Lions, I think, is like 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. It's his stats versus the Detroit. Hold up. Let me see if StatMuse got that, bro.
Yeah, we lost in 2020. 34-30.
2020. Okay, that's 3 years ago now. 2 years ago now.
And we lost in 2017, 2010.
Well, 2017, that makes sense.
We lost in 2017 twice and 2016.
Well, 2017 makes sense. That was still Fox. Nagy came 18. That team was awful. That team was god awful.
I would say this: if you go by the last
Mitchell
decade,
Trubisky stats,
you took a lot of L's against the Detroit Lions. I wouldn't sit there and ride that high horse right there, bro.
Hey, listen. Y'all could.
Why we did?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, kid. Here's the thing, though. Matt. Why can't I think of his name in LA? Matt Stafford. I was thinking Matt Ryan because we was talking about him. Matt Stafford versus the Chicago Bears. Didn't beat Mitch Trubisky.
No, he didn't. But he didn't have a receiver either.
Mitch Trubisky stats. Or hold on, I guess I said it right there. Let's see what it is. Mitch Trubisky win-loss record versus the Detroit Lions.
Well, he got to be like 3-1.
Stop. Mitch Trubisky.
No, we play him twice every year, right?
Win-loss record versus the Stat Muse be tweaking. Mitch Trubisky right win-loss record versus the Detroit Lions.
I can send it to you. It's right here. We know who the starting QB was.
4-3. Hey, when you right, baby. Hey. Oh, he must have played 17 then. He must have played them both games in 17. Because I know he only lost one. Matt Nagy only lost to the Lions one time.
Couldn't have. He
only lost to the Detroit Lions one time. I know that for a fact. So he must have played them both times in 2017. I could be wrong.
No, you're right about that. Because he got hired in 18?
He got hired in 18.
That's crazy. No, you're right. He only lost once.
And that's that 34-30 game, ain't it?
So Matt Nagy's a god against them.
Matt Nagy is a god versus the Lions. So my whole point is to say I'm not worried about the Detroit Lions, right? But I pay attention to their training camp a little bit more because of Don Burr always popping in. And I think here's the funny thing about it, right? We go at it in the chat. He's probably talking mad junk right now, even though this is pre-recorded. I love, like, he's one of my favorite people on YouTube because he actually knows sports. He's just such a god-level troll. The Bears blocked him. The Chicago Bears YouTube channel blocked him, so he made another YouTube channel. Hey, you see it in there now. It's Don Burr 2.0 with a different Lions hat.
Shout out to you, Don.
Hey, Don, shout out to you, brother. But
I'll say this. Your question was, does it mean anything to me yet?
Does training camp mean anything? But the reason I was saying that is because we've heard so many good things in this training camp from not just Chicago reporters, but national. And that's not normal for us. We weren't hearing good things about Mitch in training camp. We were hearing he had a couple of nice throws and then he did this. And then he had a couple of nice throws and then he did this. With Fields, we've heard a lot more of the glowing things. And yeah, there's been some days, a day or two here where he's had a downtime. But it hasn't been, I don't know if it hasn't been, I don't know if this guy's got it. It's been, we're really surprised by how good he looks.
I think the narrative is changing, and that's just all it was. It's just certain narratives. I remember, although it wasn't really something I was like digging into, glowing reviews that, Mitch had in 2018 and going into 2019 a little bit, what the expectations were based off how he looked. And it wasn't as 50-50 as most people make it out to be. Like,
no, but even then it was, even then it all came with the
favorable though. They gave favorable reviews.
No, but it all came with the caveat of anything he messed up. There was a lot of like, he missed this. But guys, we knew he was raw. Like that was that caveat that came with it. Anytime it was something negative, it was, but guys, we knew that he was a raw talent. You were going to have to develop this kid.
I think the what's changed is people's faith in Matt Nagy at that time and that system, because he was coach of the year and stuff like that. It had to be the QB's issue if it didn't work. And whereas now we're in a situation where we clearly see that it was more than just that. It was definitely coaching, it's definitely developing and stuff like that. Now we're rolling into it and they're like, hey, no, like this is what a real organization looks like from the top down. They look a lot better. The communication is a lot better. Some of the players have talked about, and the overall feel and vibe within the organization is different. And so because of that, now I think that's why you get more glaring reviews about Justin and stuff like that, because you can see, hey, all right, there's some competency here within his organization, whereas before that wasn't there. And so I think what tends to happen is the QB gets a lot of blame for things that legitimately could be a head coach's fault. And it doesn't hit the head. It doesn't come to until you get to your second QB and you're like, hey, this doesn't work. Which we didn't have to get to our second QB. We didn't. Nick Foles came in there a couple games. This ain't working.
Yeah.
Nick Foles told you off bat, it ain't working.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to sit there and give it credit. No, it's this. A professional player literally told you, hey, I don't have enough time to even execute the plays that you're trying to get me to execute. And we wanted to sit there and kill him. So, I mean, hey, listen, I'm happy for Fields because now he has a fair shake. And that's all I wanted Mitch to have was a fair shake. And so I'm happy he's getting that. I'm happy he's getting a fair. But
Mitch didn't get a. I think Mitch didn't get a fair shake from the coaching standpoint. I'll agree with that now. Mitch, if and nobody's come out, even Matt Nagy hasn't come out and refuted it, right? Like if somebody slanders you, like how Matt got slandered when he left town, you say something.
Matt ain't saying
you didn't show up to a meeting where your quarterback showed up with notes ready to tell you the things that he thought were going to make the team better that you set up. You didn't show up. Matt ain't said nothing. Like that's a major.
You didn't include him in any of the.
That's a major slander as a head coach, especially one that's involved in the offense as much as Matt was. Like that is this dude sucked. And there's nothing you can tell me that Mitch, he basically said he sucks. And he messed me up. And I'm better than that. And Buffalo showed me that. And Matt said nothing about it.
So I'm happy that Fields is getting opportunity. Because again, it's like when we sit there and we really talk about it and we're honest about the Bears' history and what happened. How did we go from 12-4 to laughing stock of the league? You can't not go over this history several times.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to.
And you almost have to feel good about where this team is now.
You have to. Like, why are we getting such glaring reviews of how we look? Because we look so freaking bad. Why did we look so freaking bad? Hey, our coach and our QBs weren't even talking to each other.
Yeah.
Go figure that the freak out. Yeah. Like, I mean, you have to put that into perspective. So again, I'm happy that we have a GM who's definitely involved, not handcuffed, able to put his own people in place. He got the right people. He pretty much stole everyone from Green Bay for a good portion. I mean, that's what all the first signings look like anyway. But he got people here who know football.
Yeah.
And he got, I mean, listen, we're ranked 11th. I know it's just preseason. I want to see these people against, like, I mean, it's not even preseason, but I want to see them in preseason and stuff like that. I want to see all of that. I want to see how it looks. But I'll take that because we were definitively 30. We were bottom of the league.
Yeah.
I remember we weren't the dead last. I think the Bengals were dead last.
We was close. We was close though. We weren't dead last, but we was close.
We weren't dead last, but we were pretty freaking close. I mean, our QB didn't get like almost a season-ending injury, but he almost died.
Hey, 9 sacks. Yeah. You don't know that.
He might have some mental issues that he might
that's a bad day. Let me ask you this then. So when we talk about the offseason that the Bears have had, how would you grade? Now, there's a lot of ifs still in place, right? Because we haven't seen any of this versus a team that actually wants to kill you on the other side. But how would you grade Poles if the 2 defensive picks that he picked, which have gotten glaring reviews not only locally but nationally, and Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker, pan out to be really good rookies this year, really good players? You fixed your offensive line. You fixed your DB position. I don't know what Velus Jones is going to be. Maybe he pans out. Maybe he doesn't. We might not care by the end of it if Darnell Mooney's that good, but I don't really include him in this. But I think just off of that, right, like I would have to say if you fixed your offensive line and you fixed your DB position, 2 major holes last season, that's a heck of an offseason. Whether you got him a receiver or not, it's a lot easier to get the ball to somebody if you're not laying on your back.
That I agree with. But I don't agree with I think his moves for the O line, hands down, good moves. Get Justin some protection. The moves I'm still on the fence about,
the 2 second-round picks.
Yeah. And the reason why is because if our O-line looks good, but we have a lot of drop balls,
yeah,
we're gonna roll into another season.
That's fixable. That's fixable though.
Because
right, that's a like you look at the all-22 and you say no, Justin put that on his hands. That was times with Mitchell. We was like, hey, you got to catch that, bro.
We got to catch it.
You got to catch that. So I can judge that, right? I can judge that and say, yeah, you got to catch that.
But you know what we might not always see too? Coach T does a good job breaking this down.
Coach T's really good. Hey, Coach T, we gonna get you on the show out here, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want to see what Coach T was on. He was like, hey, fellas, bring me on the show and all that when he first hopped in the chat. And I was like, hey, man, it's a lot of people that say that. After watching Coach T's show, Coach T knows his stuff. He really good at it. He really good. I like his YouTube. I really like his channel. Maybe bring the camera angle up a little bit, Coach T. Just a little higher, bro. Just a little higher, Coach. It's the straight on. The straight on is tough on the YouTube game.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say is you have a certain level of anticipation and there's a level of familiarity and stuff like that. And then there's just the difference between an elite receiver or really good receiver versus those who are just, you can call them journeymen within the league.
Yeah.
I'm doing a horrible job explaining it, but you know that difference. But the way it may show up in the play, you don't know who made the mistake. You get the sense that, hey, maybe he didn't run that route, or maybe he didn't go where he's supposed to be, or you get the sense of,
well, not knowing the route is the biggest part that you don't know, right? Like I can't look at it and say I know. Like I can look at something and say, okay, this is what this looks like it should have been, right? It should have been a 8-yard hitch route, and it looks like he hitched. Or he didn't turn around, get his head around to get his eyes on the ball, and the ball flew past him, but it looked like Justin would have put the ball on him, right? I don't know, because more times than not, unless it's continuous, the quarterback's not going to call you out on it. If Justin was expecting you to not make a hitch route, but make a double move and take off deep versus you making an 80-yard hitch route, right? Not knowing the playbook is the biggest disadvantage that everybody has. For diagnosing if somebody's playing bad. But you can take the cumulative, like there's not going to be, if you have a player that's misreading his routes that many times, he's not going to be on the field.
Yeah.
So you can take the cumulative of the entire season and say, okay, Justin has shown us this. Justin has done this. Justin has made this move. So for me, right, if I'm looking at what Poles did this offseason and it does end up being that, right, we didn't go get a receiver.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying we didn't go get a receiver, but our DB position looks fixed.
We really need to get receivers, dog. I don't care what no one says.
I don't think so.
What was that receiver?
You can find
we're having this conversation, and it was like I forgot who he was. It was like 2 years ago. Different team. So work with me here, but I'm trying to jog your memory a little bit. It was like we knew he was a good QB, but he had to fit the ball in so many tight windows that it led to him having some really weird pickoffs. Who was that QB? And you were like, man, his receivers are not getting the separation he needs for you to even see it. He's having to do work so much harder to fit this in.
Is it good? Really he's good now?
It's not someone we kill.
Is he still in the league?
He's still in the league. Not a top 5 QB either.
Starter?
Like one of those big names. But
he's a starter?
He's a starter.
Well, there's only 32 guys we can go through.
Well, that's not the top 5 or 6 for sure. But I mean, we were having this conversation and we were just watching film. We were just chilling. We were just watching some stuff. It was like, man, he's working so hard. I think that was when I was making
it could have been Stafford.
Is either Stafford or
it could have been Stafford. Let's see. I mean,
it may have been Derek Carr.
There's only 32 quarterbacks in the NFL.
It had to be Derek Carr then.
It definitely wasn't Pat Mahomes.
No, Patty does what Patty want to
do. John, you said not top 5. It could have been. Was it Burrow? Year 1? Dak Prescott? I never was Lamar. I know that much.
It was never Lamar. I think it's these.
Oh, no. It was when we was talking about Deshaun, right?
Deshaun Watson.
It was when we was talking about Deshaun because he led the NFL in yards, and I was like, bro, he's putting the passes where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
We was talking about Deshaun.
It was Deshaun.
Tough segue now, but anyway, your point.
I had a. Yeah, no, you were right. It was Deshaun because we're talking about how many drops they had.
Yeah,
and a lot of drops, but it was they weren't getting any separation, so it was like really tough catches.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is when you were selling me on how him being a Michael Jordan of the league because I couldn't see it at first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That was
cool.
the comment. That was the comment. Yeah. But yeah, no. I just think right. We'll be able to see if Mitch is relax. Well, Mitch too, kind of. But we'll be able to see if Justin is making the right plays and if guys are just dropping it. And that's fixable.
Yeah.
When's the last season a good wide receiver didn't pop up? There's been new wide receivers that come into the NFL every year that are good. And guess what? I have all my draft picks next year. Or if I don't want to use my draft picks, and I think they overpay for it, I can go out and get a receiver that's already made his name in the NFL. Receivers are becoming, now it's not to say, right, that they're on the level of running backs yet. I think it's not the
dime a dozen. You was about to say it.
No, I'm not. It's not on the level of running backs, but you find receivers every year. If I draft a receiver every single year, and eventually I'll find one that's good.
I mean, besides Chase last year, I mean,
think about honestly, right? Velus Jones, we don't know about, but the reason that people dislike Velus Jones is not because they don't think he can play. It's because he's 25.
Okay, how old he is.
If Velus Jones can play, Ryan Poles found a receiver. Now, you got to be able to play. You got to be able to see that. You got to be able to make the reads and do that on the field. But
yeah,
there's such the reason that people don't like Velus Jones is because you went out and you got a 25-year-old receiver who's playing on the same team for more than 10 years. Like, he could get to 35. Like, we're talking about a guy that you're probably going to enjoy watching in the NFL for 8 to 9 seasons if he's really, really good.
Right.
That's 8 to 9 years of you having a really good wide receiver.
Oh, he is 25. All right, what the?
That's 8 to 9 years of you having a really good wide receiver.
I thought that was just like a...
No, he's actually 25. Yeah, he's older.
Or something like that.
He's older. Nah, but here's the thing,
How
right?
did that happen?
I believe he took a year off from COVID and then he switched colleges. Because his grandmother, his grandfather, one of them got sick. And so he wanted to move closer to home. So he ended up going to Tennessee. So really good story, but I mean, it's all about if he can play. Can Velus play?
When did you normally enter the draft as a...
Well, his year that he could have,
the
year that he could have entered the draft was, or the year that he would have been able to play, he'd have been able to enter the draft the next year, but that was the COVID year.
And then when you switch schools, it's eligibility?
No, he would have been able to play probably that, or maybe he did. No, because I think he left after his freshman year, but he played his freshman year on special teams. So I think he might have had the red shirt again. I forget how the story works out. But
I gotta check that out.
Essentially, they got it on the Bears YouTube channel where they interviewing him and talking about it. But it's a good story, but it's one of those where I understand why he's coming to the NFL at 25.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with him coming into the NFL if he can play. I don't care if he's 25. I think it's an asset to get players that are older. By the way, that's how players used to come into the NFL back in the day because they spent more time in college.
That's a fact. Also,
now 20, not 25. 25's late, but you're talking probably what, 23?
But guess what? That was also what they did in the NBA. And before we get out of here, we got to talk about NBA.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get into that. We got to get into that Bulls talk. So, let's close out real quick. Let's close out the topic here. With this training camp that we've seen, we lost N'Keal Harry. Do you feel good? We lost N'Keal Harry to a high ankle sprain. Don't know how long that's going to last. Don't know how long that's going to be. I know you're like, Pat, you're not spending a ton of time on this. N'Keal Harry was traded for a 7th round pick. I hope he's good. I wasn't expecting N'Keal Harry to come in here and be the best wide receiver on the team.
Did they tell you what grade?
High grade, high severity. So he's gonna be gone probably 6 weeks, probably 6 to 8 week injury there. Especially as a wide receiver, you're doing nothing but cutting and planting.
Nah, he might be done for like 4 or 5 games, dog.
Well, bro,
you said high severity.
Yeah, but bro, we got 3 preseason games, and then we got 3 regular season games. That's 6 weeks. Preseason starts this Saturday.
I don't know when it starts.
So we got. I mean, that's 6 weeks there.
I'm thinking about what he does and stuff like that. When you say high severity,
it's high.
That means he's walking around with the boot.
Yeah,
he
for sure.
Have that boot on. For
sure.
Some time.
Yeah, he'll probably miss your first 4 to 6 games. Probably.
You ever had one of those high grade sprains?
Nah. Oh
my God, you feel like you almost broke your foot. You feel like you broke your foot.
Yeah, no. Worst thing I had injury wise, I had a high severity knee sprain. Because I was hooping at a gym downtown and everybody was coming in with their boots on and it was wintertime and nobody was mopping the floor. So I went over to grab a rebound, it's going out of bounds, slipped, knee popped, came back, had to go to work. Ooh. Hey, listen, I don't play in the NBA. Ain't no doctors taking me out of there. Had to go to work the next day, climb a silo to do electrical on the top of it. Middle of January. It was that week. The Thursday of that week was Siberia.
Thank God you had Siberia and you got snowed out.
I got a day off, baby. Hey, Lord, that knee, bro, that knee was messed up because I couldn't put it up or nothing. That knee was messed up for probably 3 months, 3 to 4 months. It's the worst thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I've had it. I've sprained my knee. I've had some real bad, like people fall into you, pop back. Oh God.
Yep. That's the thing. That's what my knee did. The pop back. It did the pop back.
Extension.
Ooh. Yep. It did the pop back.
Hey,
all right.
Drop every time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Every time.
The reason I'm not spending a ton of time on it, I didn't expect N'Keal Harry to come in here and all of a sudden change this wide receiver core all the way around. I thought he was an excellent pickup, especially for a 7th round pick. I like it. But with how training camp's going, with how things are finishing out, as you're coming into this first week of the preseason for the Chicago Bears, do you feel like this Bears team has improved?
I think we had no choice but to improve from last season. You can't go lower than what we were, baby. I don't know what to tell you. I hate to be that person, but I mean, good Lord, it don't get no worse.
Well, you can get worse than 6. You can get worse than 6 wins.
Dog, we had a game with negative yardage.
Hey.
We can't get no worse.
I mean, so did Pat Mahomes, technically, if you count the Super Bowl. But
I saw him at least be able to run. He didn't get a chance to run. He just got steamrolled.
Oh, man.
In all sincerity, I just want to see what it looks like on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk behind it, and I'm just one of those people where, I love the excitement around it. I love the speculation around it. Give me some field time.
I think if your offensive
line, my opinion may change by mid-season. Yeah. I'm giving it to mid-season before I formulate a real opinion on who we are.
If your offensive line is what people say it is, and is showing that, and I'll tell you what, they saying Teven Jenkins out here laying some monster blocks on that line. I ain't gonna lie to you. So if your offensive line is what, right? I already said your mama. But if your offensive line is what they said it is, I think you come out of this training camp feeling good about this team. No matter, here's the thing. You need wide receivers. You absolutely do. But if I got a good offensive line, I can do a lot more with mediocre than if I have a bad offensive line. And there's a lot of mediocre out there with a bad offensive line that we play against this year.
Allowing my QB to run.
Oh, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. We do want to get into a little bit of NBA to finish this off, man. I mean, I dropped my solo video on it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with your boy as always, man, if you stuck around. Talked a lot of football today. We're going to switch gears to kind of end the show off here with a little bit of NBA. I've given my thoughts on this, but this was news that dropped over the weekend. We also dropped a video on Locked on Bulls, and we got a video on this channel. So please go check out my thoughts on this channel. But since we got Kidd here, want to get his thoughts as well. The Bulls are talking to Vouch about extending him during training camp.
As they should.
Do you like this move for the Chicago Bulls? Do you feel like this is a move that keeps the Bulls moving forward? Do you feel like this is a stationary move? Do you feel like this is we're talking about signing a guy on the wrong side of 30, which in the NBA kind of like I hear that in the NFL. I don't think it exists in the NBA, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, granted, right? Tristan Thompson breaks all those laws, but I don't think that exists in the NBA, bro.
He's not even trying to play basketball. He's trying to get Kardashians pregnant.
We just watched DeMar DeRozan have his best season at 32. Of his career.
We just saw LeBron have one of his best seasons, and he's 37. We just saw Chris Paul lead a team to the finals at 36. You know, we just saw I mean, it's not happening. Like, look, guess what? Steph Curry, 33.
All of our stars are about the age.
All of our stars are old.
Hey, listen.
Older.
This is the one thing I'll say. The Bulls getting good at the right time. Hey, if you're gonna get good at any time, now's the time to get good. There might be that Elijah window coming up for you.
The only team I'm really worried about that was recently champs is the Bucks, because Giannis is young.
Oh,
he's a freaking tank. He ain't even 30.
Young.
Not close.
That's
Not close.
The Bucks are probably gonna be our Detroit. That's probably gonna be the team if the Bulls get to that level. Where they're talking about trying to make deep runs in the playoffs, which I hope they do. That's probably going to be our Detroit, the team that we try to beat the most. But I mean, hey, listen, do you like the fact that Vouch is the Bulls are talking to Vouch in training camp and expecting to get a deal done in training camp?
Absolutely, because there's not many centers better than Vouch. The list is really freaking small.
It should dominate guys.
One hand.
Embiid, Jokic. Gobert. Well, I'm thinking because Vouch is kind of really only dominant on one end as well. So you can kind of have that caveat. He's salvageable-ish defensively if somebody's standing next to him. And he's a much better defender. He's been a much better defender in his career than last season. He's been more of a 103, 104 defensive rating than he has been a 109.
So let's just break it down.
I'd throw Gobert on there, though, because Gobert is a defense. What's your defensive system? Gobert.
Best NBA centers. The list is so freaking small.
It's short. Vouch dominates most of the guys outside of your.
Do you call AD a center? What, DeAndre Ayton? DeAndre Ayton's a center.
He's a center.
Like, he's a top. He would be considered a top.
He's a top five center. Bam Adebayo's a top 5 center.
No, he's number 3. Right?
Who? Bam?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat's tough for me because Cat disappears so much. Cat's tough for me. I'm okay on Cat. I like Cat a lot better with Rudy Gobert standing next to him.
I got Cat as a 4. I don't have him as a center.
He was definitely he was a center last year. He's been a center his whole career. He just doesn't have to be one now. Now they're putting him in the position where he'll be able to play more to his body type.
At nearly 20, he's a walking double-double, 20 points, showed up when we really needed him. Vouch definitely comes through in the clutch. He's a better three-point shooter than Kobe White. I'm just joking.
He's not. Vouch got to develop that three-point shot. I ain't gonna lie to you. His career three-point average ain't great. He had like one hot season in Orlando, and that was about it. That was the year we traded for him too.
Totally joking, but I don't know. The hate for Vouch is just weird because it's like, who you replace him with?
And the argument for that is,
who you gonna get?
The argument a lot of people have for that is, should that be the argument? The who can you replace him with argument, where who's going to give me this? But you're holding yourself back from possibly going to get a guy that can give you this if you pay Vouch.
You know why that should never, like, why this is always the argument? Because if you're going to make a move, you're making a move to get better.
Yeah.
If you can't definitively say, hey, this person makes me better, you're just making moves to be making
to make moves. And we've seen that in Chicago.
Stupid.
And we've seen that in Chicago. We've seen that a lot. Traded Bobby Portis for nothing.
What are we doing?
Making moves to make moves.
What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, hey, let's be for real. There's some other players.
The Boylan, the
really holding on to. Like, if you really want to move a player, I would move P. Will. You want to know why?
Hey, you see that bag though? You see that bag though that P. Will done added?
Oh, I like the bag.
Hey, did you see him in the Drew League? Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, I saw him in the drill. Hey, Zach. Hey, you know what? Zach, go ahead and get that. Go ahead and get that.
Hey, bro. I was like,
I need to do that ASAP.
Hey, the first thing I thought was, hey, P. Will got that? Has he always had that? Hey, look, that wasn't even right. It's a lot of stuff where I'm like, well, of course, like P. Will's in the NBA. He should be able to do things versus these guys that the other team can't do. And I'm okay with that. But that was like watching J. Crow in the Drew League where he just doing stuff that you like, yeah, you're not going to be able to defend this. P. Will was just like, there's nothing you're not going to take the ball from me. I'm behind the back. I'm here. Hey, add that. Show me that in the league. You show me that. I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. If we get to 30 games and P. Will is doing stuff like that on the court, Kid is going to have a whole new demeanor towards P. Will. Because I'll tell you why. Because the handle is what gets you. The handle is and somebody that can break somebody down, that's what gets you. You be like, look how he get to the bucket. Look how he get into the bucket.
I'm going to tell you this. If he starts breaking people down and getting to the bucket, I will actually sit there and give him his kudos.
You already gave him his kudos. You just took him back.
I don't think he's a bad player.
You gave him his kudos. You just took him back. when he was cooking in a couple of games, you was like, hey, I can't even lie. P. Will is definitely out here helping. And then like he had one game where like he didn't shoot great, and he was like, nah, he trash.
No, wait, he didn't shoot great. He didn't shoot at all. I saw him pass up wide open shots. It's like, yo, like, dude, you don't understand. Like football is your sport. I be struggling to keep up in these football conversations. Basketball is my sport.
Hey.
You can't sit there, have this wide open opportunity and not take that shot. If you're not keeping the defense honest, you know what that does? That's let me double down on Vouch when we throw it down. Let me double up on DeMar when he's on the block. Oh, you know what? Let me send an extra dude to chase Levine when he comes over those screens because we know he's gonna pull up high, those high 3-pointers. You know what they're gonna do. You know what Zach loves. You know what DeMar is gonna be.
Yeah.
You know where Vouch is gonna be.
Yeah.
But if you're not keeping your man honest, you're just playing 4-on-5. But he did that a couple of times.
But what cracks me up about it is you love Kyle Anderson.
I don't love a Kyle Anderson.
Slow-mo? You love slow-mo.
I said I love the fact that he just plays at his own pace, but I would never pick him up for my team. Would never pick him up for my team.
Bro, you literally have said I would take slow-mo on my team. On the Bulls.
I would take him over P. Will because I know he's going to take the shot.
But he does the same thing.
But he actually takes the shot.
Bruh, he averaged probably, 8 shots a game, 9 shots a game?
Dog, Kyle Anderson has actually been a difference maker on teams. Like, literally been a difference
defensively.
maker.
Hold on.
And he's actually scored.
Oh, he can score.
You're not gonna sit there and do slow-mo in like
Hold up. No, it's no disrespect. But what I'm saying is
you do a slow-mo in like that.
What I'm saying is you dislike P. Will. Now I will say this, right? I don't need P. Will turning into slow-mo, right? Slow-mo's a really good role player. We picked P. Will 4th overall. I don't want to see P. Will be slow-mo. But what I'm saying is you will love. No, here's my thing. You will love a player like slow-mo and be like, I would absolutely take him. And he's just the guy.
For a role player, yes. But P. Will, like you said, was 4th. And I remember in the chat, somebody else said, you know what? That was a weak.
He 9 shots a game. He 9 shots a game.
Like, dog, listen.
Well, last season.
You the 4th overall pick.
You got to be better.
You got to be a lot better.
No, everybody said that he has to take a step this season, and I that's why I think right. Like, but I will say this right when
behind him that took steps. We herald Tyrese Halliburton as if he's the next Lonzo Ball, if not the best point guard at 6'7". You know, comparatively between those two, he went at like what 10 spots down.
Yeah, but what's the difference?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
P. Will didn't play last year. P. Will played 17 games last year. He played 5 of them in the playoffs.
Halliburton came in rookie season, dog. Rookie season, he was a dog.
Right.
What are we talking about?
And then year 2, he kept playing and he got better. P. Will rookie season. P. Will rookie season looked good and was getting praise from some of the best players in the NBA about what he was doing defensively.
Dog, first of all, stop. What happened was Chicago loved the fact that we had a number 4 pick so much that we kept asking these stars, what do you think about him? And they were like, yeah, he did well, this, that, and the other. No one, go find it. Send me the clip.
LeBron.
No one was like,
what did LeBron say?
He messed up.
What did LeBron say?
He gave him praise for how he stuck him defensively.
He said he made it tough.
That's it.
That's huge.
No one, dog. Of course, LeBron is going to. First of all,
nah, bro.
Any rook, he's not.
Bro, you don't have to down him. You still don't got to say nothing. You know what you say? You know what most of them. You know what most of the mugs say? What do most of the mugs say? Hey, listen, he's got a long way to go, but I think he's got a bright future. If LeBron's not going to come out and say he made things tough for me. KD's not going to come out and say he's got all these things going on. Like, these mugs wouldn't say that if they didn't think he could play.
Dog, listen, I ain't heard not one person say he next up.
Ain't nobody said he's next up.
Nobody has said it.
That don't mean it ain't going to happen.
Guess what? Top four.
Hey,
you next up.
Nobody.
You walk in
You
Kawhi, got drafted to be next up.
Kawhi Leonard left the NBA Finals, and they said he's a heck of a defensive player. Nobody said he's next up.
Go back and check the tape.
Nobody said Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard came out of that NBA Finals averaging what, 12 points a game?
Dog, Kawhi Leonard came out of that.
Send me that.
Every time.
Send me that. Send me somebody saying Kawhi Leonard was next up. You talk about send me. I watched
it's the freaking final.
I watched it, not the second one, the first one.
Okay.
The second one, he was averaging 21 points a game. Of course, I'm gonna say he's next up.
What he do in the first one?
The first one, he averaged 12 points a game and played really good defense. You know what they said? He's a really good defender. I don't even know if he averaged 12.
He did.
He was a really good defender. He made things tough for LeBron. He's a really good piece. How's this Spurs team going to survive without Tim Duncan?
He had Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and come on.
Yeah, but that was at the point where they was all old.
No, dog. No, you can't compare the two. You're comparing two totally different things.
I'm just saying.
You're comparing young Kawhi in the finals.
I'm just saying that nobody was saying
up in the finals.
But how many guys? But you saying who says P. Will is next up? Who says half of these mugs are next up until they show up and become next up?
Hold on. Just as a caveat, I just have to ask this.
Who says half these mugs are going to be next up until they show that they next up, and then it's I've always liked this game.
I just want to know if you know. What pick was Kawhi Leonard?
I don't know. Late first?
If we had to put them in the same draft, P. Will would have been drafted 11 spots ahead of Kawhi Leonard.
So he's still a lottery pick.
Well, lottery's top 10.
Lottery's top 15, ain't it?
I thought it was top 10.
I don't think so. Think lottery's top 15, my boy.
So he's a
lottery pick. This is the pause where Kid fact checks it. Is it top 14? So he's just outside the lottery? No, because the Bulls had what this year? Bulls had 6.
The remainder of the lottery teams were selected positions 5 through 14 in the inverse order.
Oh, okay. So he was just outside the lottery.
It doesn't matter. P. Will was the top 4 pick.
Hey, listen. I'm here with you. I'm here with you. And listen, I'm not saying P. Will don't. I love how no matter what the conversation is, it always turns into P. Will slander. I'm not saying. No, you did, because you said if I'm gonna trade anybody, I'm trading P. Will. But I'm not saying that P. Will doesn't have to improve. I'm gonna be honest with you. If P. Will doesn't leave this NBA season averaging at a minimum 15 points a game, and you have to be, and listen, I said, I think P. Will with strength will be one of the best defenders in the NBA. You have to do both for me to feel good about you being the number 4 pick in the draft. Huh?
He's not gonna average 15 points a game.
He has to listen. What I'm saying is, if P. Will averages 15, if he doesn't average 15 points a game, and he's one of the best defenders in the NBA, he was picked too high.
He's going to be probably one of the better defenders in the NBA, but he's not going to average 15 points a game.
I think the Bulls are setting.
You can't have both.
Yeah, you can. Why can't you? Why can't you have both?
I think with Lonzo coming back, he's just not going to have the same opportunities.
Because
Zach is going to be back full strength,
right?
With a point to prove. 215, you got to prove it. DeMar's getting a new contract worked out. Vouch is getting a new contract worked out.
DeMar's getting a new contract worked out. Why did DeMar getting beat?
Didn't they say they was going to potentially work out a deal with him?
DeMar getting on the same deal. DeMar on the same deal. Yeah, you got to stop listening to everybody in the Discord, my boy.
Well, this was...
By the way, join up on the Discord in the chat. But
some of these fake pages be getting really like they.
Oh yeah, no, bro. You gotta vet that stuff, bro. You gotta go deep into that.
Forgive me, I got. It's just a lot for some key people to prove.
Here's
that's a bad situation for a younger player trying to really find himself.
Here's why it's not.
I don't think he's gonna have the same opportunity.
For the Bulls to be successful this year, Vouch to me has to be your 4th option.
Ooh, no.
It has to be.
Oh no, I totally disagree.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I totally disagree.
I think DeMar has to take a slight step back and Zach has to become your number 1. I think DeMar still needs to be Mr. Fourth Quarter. Being the man in the fourth quarter does not mean I'm the leader of this team to me. So like that doesn't kill me. DeMar is the most clutch player in the NBA since 2012. I want the ball in his hand with 5 minutes on the clock. Like that's just playing the law of averages. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm fine with a healthy Zach LaVine dominating quarters 1 through 3, and DeMar's got 12 going into the 4th, and he's like, all right, let me finish this thing off with 22. I think that if your team is going to be a better team, a better than a first round team, you have to have P. Will take that step. Because right now, outside of Lonzo, he's the only guy in your starting lineup with two-way potential. He's the only guy. And it's also because it's year 3, and he has to show you something. Like, I'm with you. And Stacey King said it when he was on here. It's year 3. I get you a hurt year 2. I get you as a rookie in year 1. But I'm not going to kill Larry Markkinen. Or I'm not going to kill Larry Markkinen, and I'm not going to kill Kobe White, and I'm not going to kill you if you're giving me 6 to 8 points a game. But he's a great defender. Yeah, that's too high. I'm not picking Tony Allen with the 4th pick in the draft.
Yeah, no, I can't. Just for that.
So I'll be right there with you, right? If he's playing like that, I'm the development thing for me. Oh, he's got to do this, and he's young, and it's his 3rd year in the NBA. And he's not small no more. He's 200, and if I'm not mistaken, what did he added 10 more pounds of muscle this offseason, I think?
Did he? Hey, listen, I'll tell you this. We killed Kobe White. I did specifically.
It's a personal thing for you.
Oh, it wasn't personal. I don't even know the dude. But I just knew what good basketball looked like. I knew he wasn't playing good basketball. Hey, he still gave me a 15. Now, he gave me 15 points a game. He gave me 13 points a game. What was it? 13? Something like that? He gave me double digits. Kobe gave me double digits.
Kobe gave you double digits, yeah. Kobe was 12 points a game off of the bench.
Kobe's already giving me double digits. Kobe at one point, we needed his scoring output so bad. We were like, man, why can't he hit this bucket? Like that's how bad we needed him to shoot.
100%.
Right? So guess what? No, I'm sorry. P. Will, is your 3rd year. I'm not going to trash Larry Markkinen, who gave me 18 points a game at his worst 14. playing the same position. If I'm being honest, I'm not gonna trash him. I'm not gonna keep trashing Kobe White because he look out of place on the court. Because guess what? Outside of the one thing you do well, you look out of place. You looked out of place on the court. I'm not gonna give him that. I'm not gonna sit there like Kobe White looked real good taking that jump shot and driving to the cup. He looked out of.
He need a handle. He need a bag that he can get into. That was the thing. That's why I'm glad he worked on his handle this offseason. Kobe White's game is so predicated off of his ability to get to the bucket
and create space,
and he couldn't get to the bucket.
Well, he was quick. He just didn't.
But quick don't work if everybody slide together and stop you from getting down there.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like quick work. Like the reason John Wall was so great is John Wall was quick, but his handle was crazy.
He got a crazy handle.
The reason that Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, guys like that work is because they quick, but they got a crazy handle.
That's my sleeper right there. Whoever picks up Colin Sexton, I'm telling you right now, that's 25, 5 and 5, 24th, whatever.
We getting late. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That kid up.
Colin Sexton might be a Cavalier. We getting late into this, you dig, bro. Like the season starts in what, a month?
No, they gotta move.
I agree with you, but the season started what, a month?
They got 2 months. They gotta move.
When basketball?
It's late October, so we got 2 months.
October, yeah, you're right.
They gotta move.
Training camp starting
the team rolls so well without him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I never thought him and Darius Garland worked together.
You trade him for somebody else who could fill some of those positions. You know, you got enough forwards. You know, God.
So here's the thing, right? Let's say Patrick Williams does take a step.
I'd go get Colin Sexton.
Let's say Patrick Williams. I don't want Colin Sexton because I think you got Zach LaVine. Colin Sexton ain't gonna get a ball to Zach LaVine.
Our second unit gonna be fire with Colin Sexton though.
He ain't coming off the bench for $20 million a year.
Well,
he gonna get 20. Well, off of injury, he probably ain't gonna get 20. He probably gonna have to sign a one and one or something. But if you could sign him to the second unit, let's go. Because I would love to have him playing off of IO. That'd be crazy. But that would be crazy. And you got the defense there too. But
somebody's gonna pick up that kid who really needs it. Watch he end up a Laker. I don't know how they gonna make it work, but he gonna end up a Laker. Bro.
Jeannie Buss finna let them sit in that, bro. Jeannie Buss is looking at them and she like, figure it out. They ain't did nothing. They've done nothing. They added some nice role player pieces that might be nice for Russ and or LeBron to pass the ball to, but they've really done nothing.
Healthy, that's still a very freaking good team.
Yeah, but the pieces don't work together. They don't fit. There's nothing about Russ and LeBron that fits together.
I don't care.
Even healthy. There's nothing about that fits together.
And make sure we clip this part up too, with me and you sitting just like this. Because these two people right here, we agreed. We remember when we heard, LeBron and AD hopped on a plane and they were talking with Russ out in whatever island they were on or whatever. We remember that report vividly. You're not going to sit there and do this whole spin and make it seem as if the Lakers organization ain't doing nothing for LeBron. Well, they absolutely.
Oh, they gave him what he wanted.
They gave him exactly what he wanted. And now you're going to sit there and say, well, now he ain't doing it.
And that's why DeMar be cooking him. DeMar was cooking him last year. That's why DeMar was cooking him last year. Because DeMar was like, didn't want me to come home.
He had a deal done. Two people said they thought they was going to be Lakers. DeMar said it. Buddy Hield said it, yeah. He said he thought the deal was done. For having DeMar and Buddy Hield with LeBron and AD.
Yep.
Shoot.
That would be crazy. But, I mean, here's the question, right? Because I know we got to get up out of here. If P. Will in the offense, you want to get him more shots. I would assume that's what they want to do. He's their fourth pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. I would assume at some point they want to get him some more shots. Mm-hmm. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball. You got all these guys here and Nikola Vucevic. For you, say Vouch has a more efficient season, but same numbers. He was 17 and 11 this season. How much per year is he worth to you? How much of a deal do you get done for Vouch? Because for me, I'm talking a 3-year extension probably. That's it. Because that will put Vouch at 34 by the end of the contract. I'd give him till 33 and then a player option on that last year.
He's making like 25 a year now.
He's making 22 coming into this season.
He's making 22 coming into this season. He was just on a 4-year, $100 million deal that started in Oakland.
It was front loaded.
It was front loaded. It's hard to not say he's worth the same amount of money now.
See, I don't
25. He's worth 25 a year easy.
I don't go that far. That's too much for me. That would be too much for me. A $75 million extension is too much for me. I'm talking about.
I don't think so at all.
For me, especially knowing what the Bulls still have to get done, I would say 17 and a half.
That's disrespectful.
I would throw 17 and a half at him over 3, but I'd front load it.
You want to know why it's disrespectful? What is he ranked in double-double?
Here's the thing. His per year wouldn't be less. I'd front load it. So that last year that's a player option, you can opt in or opt out. That's why you do it that way. Yeah, I mean, so you pay him. You basically say, I'm giving you 17.5 annually, but I'm going to give you 22 million this year. I'll give you 20 million next year.
That's still less than what he's making now.
He's making 22 million this year.
Yeah, but this was the end of that particular contract. He's absolutely done enough to say, "Hey, I'm 25." He's done enough to say, "Hey, I start at 25." No, he's absolutely earned that right.
I wouldn't give him 25. Not at 31. 25 million is too much for me at 31 for Vouch.
Why would you say that when DeMar's older than him and making more?
Because Vouch's production went the wrong direction last season.
Vouch's production went the wrong direction because of how he was utilized, for one, and then two, when they finally started utilizing him right, it went up.
Well, the biggest problem was a 6'4" power forward next to him. I agree with you.
And a 6'4" shooting guard and another 6'6" shooting guard. Like, he's a third.
6'4".
Well, Zach is 6'5". DeMar is 6'6".
They both 6'6", ain't they?
One of them is in short. It don't matter.
It don't matter. It's an inch. Well, it matters.
It matters. Yeah, almost. Anyway, this guy. No, like, Vouch was the most consistent player down the stretch for us.
Agreed.
He's earned his money.
I agree. I still got to pay. I still got to pay you for what the future is going to become.
Hey, all right. So 3 years, $70 million.
No.
25, 25, and 20.
No. I'm not going up for Vouch. I'd give him the same over the 2 years.
Talk to me. What is he ranked in double doubles?
Third in double doubles.
What is he ranked among centers as a shooter?
As a shooter, he's far down. You talking about 3-point shot?
As a shooter, he's actually ranked top 5 among shooters at his position.
3-pointers, or just from the field?
I guess just from the field, but he's top 5.
Oh, from the field, from the field, his efficiency is okay, but he's
top
not
5 at his position.
Yep.
As a rebounder, what is he ranked? He's top 5 at his position.
No, he's not. He's top 8.
Well, top 6.
No,
he's number 6.
Hold on. I had his numbers. Did I delete all his numbers? No, I think I said it on the video. I think I deleted all his numbers. StatMuse, pull it back up. Cause I did it all for the video. Let's see. Where does Vouch or no, that's not what I'm saying. X out of that. Top rebounders in the NBA. It's gonna give me all time. Wilt Chamberlain, I should have known. Otto Porter Jr., what you doing on my phone, man? Top rebounders in the NBA 2022. Gobert, 14.7. Vouch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Vouch is 8th in rebounders, but it's 0.4, 0.2, stuff like that.
So
like wait. Giannis and Valanciunas are 11.6 and 11.4. Vouch is 11. So he's 8th in the NBA in rebounding. Still top 10 though.
2, 3, 4. Wait a second.
Hold up. Am I wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 6. No, he's eighth. I'm looking at it right now. Gobert was 14.7. Jokic was 13.8. Crazy. Sabonis was 12.1. Capella was 11.9. Embiid was 11.7. Antetokounmpo was 11.6. Valanciunas was 11.4. Vouch was 11. Here come the Bulls fans that are mad about the trade. Wendell Carter was Carter was ninth at 10.5, just to spark debate and wrestle.
Oh, maybe we're looking at two different lists. I'm gonna send this one to you. You send me yours, because I got him at 7. It doesn't matter. He's not top 5, but I got him at 7. You got him at 8. I got him at 7.
Figure it out in the chat and wrestle.
But you got to think about it. Okay, yeah, he's not Rudy Gobert, but he does more than Rudy Gobert. He's not Jokic. Jokic is Jokic. He's not Clint Capella. I think he's a better center than Clint Capella.
He's a better center than Clint Capella to me. I seen somebody somebody commented on my video too. It was like, trade him and Kobe for Clint Capella. And I was like, wow. Talk about a trade to get worse. Now, I will say this, caveat to that point. Clint Capella with a healthy Lonzo Ball would be fun to watch, and it would be really good.
For the points per game amongst them and what he does, yeah, that's kind of tough. Like DeAndre Ayton is trying to get max money, and he doesn't put up Vouch numbers. And Vouch is a third, fourth option. Right? So
yeah. Vouch is the third option on this team. And that's why his numbers went down. Muzz are like, his averages are down. I'm like, yeah, when you're the third option, that happens.
One option to being the number 3. What do you think is going to happen? Genius. Anyway, with that being said, listen, me and you are always going to disagree because certain players I think you should absolutely pay. Yeah. You're against. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. You wouldn't pay running backs. I kind of would.
I'll never pay a running back. Hey, listen, basketball is different. Basketball is different. I'll never pay a running back.
Hey, in basketball, I absolutely think you should pay Vouch. You're like, I don't know.
No, I'm all for paying him, right? But I think you set it up to where it's basically a 2-year deal, and that third year is so light that he opts out. But if he's playing well,
just pay him 60 over 2.
Nah. You gonna give him 30 million a year? No, because this is the thing. It's also about having cap space to work with next season. You still want to have space to add to your team.
Dog, you want to retain your talent because the market's going up.
Okay, but here's the question.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Are the Chicago Bulls going to win the NBA championship this season?
That's not a good argument for why you should.
I've actually
heard you literally.
No.
Argument. No. That's not a good argument for why you shouldn't pay talent.
I'm not. No, because see, you're saying I shouldn't pay Vouch. I'm saying pay Vouch, but you set up the contract in a different way. Here's why I'm saying this. You said what?
You're still lowballing.
How am I lowballing?
The way that you just explained.
How am I lowballing?
Even the way that you explained it.
Is he getting lowballed this season?
What do you mean?
Is he getting lowballed this season with his contract?
That's why he's renegotiating.
He still gets paid. This is for next season. You get paid what you get paid this season. So is 22 million too low for Vouch this year?
Yes.
Man, we got no argument.
That's the deal he already signed before he got to the Bulls.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right.
That's the deal he already signed before he got to the Bulls.
All right. I don't know about that one. Yeah, okay. If you think 22 million is too low, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about re-signing it like a very important option, but still,
very important option. That's still, no matter how we looked at it, he might not have been top 5, but he's definitely top 10.
He's a double, absolutely. He's a double machine. You have to keep
top 10 player, and I'm the third option. You don't even give me the same opportunity.
You have to keep him here. I agree with you. But at $25 million a year, unless you feel like you're going to win the NBA championship this season, you're going to have to look at what you do this year and say, okay, these are the things we have to add.
Was Zach worth 25 extra million? Is Zach worth 25 million more per year than Vouch right now?
Yes.
It's been a great show, Pat.
Hey, listen, when we know we're just not going to agree on it. When we know we're just not going to agree on it.
25 million more than Vouch right now? Now, mind you, he is worth more to the team.
Zach LaVine on one knee is a top 12 scorer in the entire NBA. Not just among shooting guards. He's a top 12 scorer in the entire NBA.
It's a good show.
Hey, man, it was a great run, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. Did his internet freeze right at... Oh, no, he's back. All right, cool. I was like, did his internet freeze right at that moment?
Okay.
That's all right, long as I ain't froze on my computer. Hey, man. Hey, y'all let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. I know there's going to be a lot. See, here's the thing. We both agreed...
25 million more than Vouch, though?
Yeah. Bro, man, come on, dog. Come on. He's also 27.
Vouch didn't get paid at all, huh?
He's 20. Vouch got $100 million at 27.
Dude, Vouch got $100 million that we only were responsible for paying the back end of.
But he was a good enough player at 27 to get a $100 million deal. So yes, Zach LaVine, with where the market went, is worth
$70 million extension, and you like, no,
I wouldn't give him that. But here's the thing. But this is the thing. Again, how the contract is worked out, Vouch would make the same money annually over the next 2 years.
Did Lonzo get 2 year, $80 million? Was it 3 years?
No, Lonzo got 4 years. He's making $20 million.
Lonzo got 4. What was it? Nah, it wasn't 4 years.
Lonzo's making $20 million. We got Lonzo for 4 years. Lonzo's also 24. Like again, Vouch is 31. If I'm giving you a 3-year deal, he's going to be 34 by the end of this deal. And if he's good, he can opt out and renegotiate a better contract.
I would say this though. Vouch is definitely worth more than Lonzo Ball.
I said give him $22 million a year.
No, it's not $2 million. He's definitely worth $5 million more than Lonzo Ball. I don't care what you say. No, you're not going to make that. You can't even put that. Yeah, exactly. You can't even weigh it.
No, my arm's just low. I mean, I'm cool. I
gotta go.
Hey, man, you were supposed to be gone. This is what happens every time you do this show.
I can't believe this.
Hey, listen.
We end up fighting over Vouch's contract.
Well, that was the topic. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning.
But why did we end up fighting over? Why can't we just pay him his money? Give that man 25 a year because he's worth 25 a year.
Why am I giving him 25 a year?
It's just $3 million more than what you were already worth
for your third option on your team, and possibly your fourth if you push him down the depth chart.
If you take Vouch off this team,
worse.
Worse. We're worse team.
Worse. 100%. I'm not saying take. The argument is not take Vouch off this team. The argument is don't pay Vouch $25 million a year.
Okay, listen, if I'm worth that much to you to the point where you're competitive with me, you're definitely a worse team without me. You're not even a top 4. You're barely a top 4 team in the East. And most people don't even have you ranked that high. They have you at 6. You take me off that team, guess what? Pay me my money. It's $3 million more. Pay me my money. What? Bye, Pat. I love you, bro.
Hey, man. Yeah, this is how we do, man. Hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another show. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this mug. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports. How Chicago talk. Hey, listen. I ain't cheap because I was the one saying if Zach LaVine earns his full Supermax, you pay him. So I ain't cheap.
Hey, listen. I didn't expect it to be 215. I thought it was like 208, like they said.
Nah, 215. I knew it was 215. We talked about it because remember, you the one brought the numbers to the show.
That's true.
Anyway, the other one was 245. Anyway, hey man,
I'm gonna end this show like we friends.
Listen. It is what it is. I heard he said your mama. I said that dude that's always instigating on the sideline. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Hey, for the pettiest man alive, Mr. P.Kidd, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Peace.